here. I'm even looking at my phone to be professional because this is how you're supposed to start a stream. There we go. I got to double check my DoorDash order before anyone walks in the door.
Yeah.
You know, and then make sure DoorDash. I spent $1 billion on this. I want to make sure it gets here in time. I called my therapist before this event or before this live stream is occurring. And
this way they don't get in your way.
Exactly. And I got a new warranty on my car. So I'm in a good position for tonight.
This is fantastic.
Okay, I got time. Yo, and here we go. What's up?
Have you started yet?
No, I have not started yet.
That's what I thought.
What's going on?
Have you taken puck out?
I did like 30 minutes ago.
Okay, I'll take
It's
puck
funny because
Alright, cool.
he has started.
Be careful. David.
Yeah.
DoorDash, you're going to get here in like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Just so you're aware.
Alright.
What was that? Hello.
You ask it.
Go
Hi.
back.
I said it's funny because he has started.
Yeah. that's the joke.
Like, no, I didn't
Classic.
start yet. We're good.
The timing.
Very good.
Mwah. You can't get this.
Yeah.
You can't script this. I'm turning my fan on
No,
because
you
I'm really hot.
really can't.
Okay. All right. Hi. Hi. Thanks for joining me again, Jake.
Thanks for having me again, Lee.
Yeah. Very professional streamers here.
I realized I looked too pasty, so I changed my lighting.
Do you see me? You look like you're sat in front of a nice fire or something. You know, you got yourself a nice bourbon, and I'm sitting here literally like I would burn if I went out in the sun.
I'll just say it this way: I look Italian, you look Irish.
You know what? Hold on a minute. Let me.
I'm
Just,
both Italian
hold
and
on
Irish.
a minute.
so
Let me. I don't know what this is gonna do to my camera. We'll find out. Ah!
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah,
That's
see,
the wrong option. That is the wrong option. This
I
one.
tried to help you. You just gotta change the
This
white
one?
balance, make it a little warmer.
one?
You'll be all right.
Change the balance. Is that the balance? Is this the balance? That's too red. I'm too red. Man, it's good enough. Whatever. Screw it.
How embarrassing!
How embarrassing, he says.
You
Yeah.
old Irish bastard.
You. Yeah, we're gonna start off. What do you want to start off with? I know we put the warlock in the thumbnail, but I know you've kind of looked at the wizard. Do you want to look at anything specifically first, or?
I would say I'm most familiar with the wizard, but I'm down with any of it.
Okay. Let's start with. Well, let's go to the posts first and see what's updated, and then we can go from there. So we have rogue, warlock,
Yep.
wizard, barbarian, paladin.
True.
What do you want to go with? I'll pick a number 1 through 5. Okay, we got doot.
I'm gonna roll.
Doot. Okay, roll it. We're D&D YouTubers. We
4.
should be rolling dice. 4, barbarian.
Variant.
All right,
Rage.
here we go. Now, I have never played a barbarian, but I think that's kind of a recurring theme. We've gone over things like this. I don't really play D&D. I run it.
Wait, wasn't Berber a barbarian?
Was Berber a barbarian?
Berber Billman. I think he was.
Then I have played a barbarian.
The
Barbarian!
Eldritch Eye, baby.
The barbarian. I just lied to you.
barbarian.
Get at me in the comments.
The barbarian. Yes.
Yeah, either way, my experience with all the classes is so negligible. It's literally from a DM perspective saying, yes, you can do that because it's in your character sheet, and not because I know anything about it.
Yeah, the forever DM syndrome.
Exactly. As well as just from watching my, different streams. But I think the Barbarian was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Barbarian was in a very decent spot from 2014, so I don't know what they would change in this. Were there any pain points you can recall or think about?
I think so. They did things like danger sense. Now you don't have to see or hear anything to get advantage on your dexterity saving throws. I think it's just you have this just like innate battle sense about you that gives you advantage there.
Just smoothed out the
added-
edges a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest stuff is like the Path of the Berserker doesn't give you a point of exhaustion. Like the subclasses I think got the most changes, but
Yeah.
you're also able to you get like primal knowledge where like you can replace the typical ability score of a skill check with strength, when your rage is active.
Okay,
Which-
that's great.
Yeah, I mean, it was about adding utility to classes that typically didn't really have it, adding weapon mastery. You get 2 melee weapons. It's cool that they say melee, because if you're playing a barbarian, you should be able to have a javelin or hand axe or something you can chuck at someone, but really,
Yeah.
you're in it to get up close.
You're
and
meant to
personal.
be in the face of enemies, right? Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's just start off here and take a look at this stuff then, because I am curious to see what they changed. Because I do recall that at least what I recall about the barbarian being bad, or bad things about the barbarian, was the fact that there was such a power gap between the subclasses. Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
Berserker was, I think,
It was just
terrible
useless.
compared to like the Totem one, or
Yeah, which
The-
of course now is named Wild Heart.
oh, is that what it is now?
Yeah, I guess Totem wasn't PC. I don't know. I guess.
Oh, is that what they said?
I don't know if that's what they said, but they just changed it.
Okay. I like the whole dude. Again, this is my Warcraft talking, man. The totem
I'm
thing
into-
with the whole shamanistic, connection to the earth or the world and elements, I think is so slept on. And the fact that it's not in the game at all really bugs me.
I like it personally. John won't take full credit for this, but a lot of times Josh will say something like, when you think, like you read about lore or something about a culture that intrigues you and actually the fantasy inspires you so much you want to play a character themed off of it, you should at least give that culture credit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well. All right, let's get into the numbers and mumbo jumbo here. All right,
Get you in
rage.
trouble.
Yeah, well, trust me, man. I'm going to get myself in so much trouble before anything happens. Don't you worry about it. If anything, I'll
It's in
feel bad about
capable
you
hands.
getting in trouble just by guilt by association to me.
You're
Like,
in capable hands. I got you.
you are in completely capable hands, worthy and able to destroy their own internet persona. All right, so rage. Rage can be maintained by using a bonus action, okay, or by forcing an enemy to make a saving throw.
Yep.
That's just a huge quality of life, because rage fell if you didn't make an attack or take damage, right?
Yeah, they wanted to give you a little more agency over
Yeah.
that.
And you regain 1 expended use of rage after each short rest. Again, that's just really nice quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I do like that they're putting more emphasis on the short rests. I think 2014, at least I can speak for my campaigns, is that whenever my PCs wanted to recover and relax, it's always, why would he have a short rest? We'd get hit points back, you know? Like...
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on the whole short rest.
Is bad or good? Good. Is this good or bad?
I just think that the timing of things is just awkward.
Yeah.
As an hour, it should be more like 10 minutes.
That's not really so much a short rest, right? Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But this is the system it has. That's the chassis we have, and yeah, they're giving you a reason to want to do it more often, and I think that's good,
Yeah.
especially if you're gonna have classes based on short rest.
Yeah, because I think the past ones that we've seen has had more recharge on a long rest with, I think, the fighter and the druid and ranger and stuff.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're putting more into the short rest makes it more worth it for people than just rolling hit die and recovering hit points.
Yep.
Which I think is good for the game, and I do also agree a short rest shouldn't be an hour, but either way,
Yeah.
it gives a reason to use it rather than just saying, I'll take a long rest after one combat. Yeah.
And I think if more long rest classes got a little something on short rests, they would care to do it more.
Yeah, exactly. All
And
right.
a lot of them are there, so. that's good.
Weapon mastery, same thing. Adding this to the new edition. You get 2 melee weapon masteries. You can change them after a long rest, and you gain access to more properties as you level up. Cool, makes sense.
A lot of fun combinations you'll eventually get to play with.
Yeah. I'm curious. What I mean, maybe I'm not curious. Like, what about dual wielding 2 different types of weapons?
I think
Could-
you're going
could
to see
you
that a
do
lot
that?
more often. Oh, yeah.
Well, how do the weapon properties work is the question. Because, like, are the masteries tied to, like, a finesse weapon? Or, like, are they tied to a heavy weapon? Or,
I
like,
think
are there more
every weapon-
restrictions?
every weapon has a mastery property. So actually, if you scroll down to the weapon mastery part, it tells you about cleave and vex. So like vex would work on the hand axe, and that's like the short sword where you hit something and then the follow up attack has advantage.
Yeah.
So dual wielders. I mean, I'm going to assume that Great Weapon Master and Sharpshooter are going to be significantly nerfed. And I'm not, whether that's a good thing or bad thing, you could talk about that. But I think dual wielding is going to be more of the meta, if you will. Like that's going to be the primary way of dealing damage.
Yeah. This is
Get that extra attack.
I think I think the weapon mastery stuff is something that's just, it's been needed. I think it's really cool. I think it adds some really nice, like, flavor without adding too much impact, without overtaking a combat situation. It's just a really cool flavor, I think.
I agree. I think it's. I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends up playing out. I think it'll be a lot.
All right, danger sense. No longer need to hear or see to gain advantage on deck saves. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was no reason for that to be there other than just being frustration. Well, you didn't hear the
Actually.
trap go off, so no. Like, that I didn't
just
sense it,
primed
did
it
I?
right
I
in.
heard it.
Yeah.
Did-
Yeah. You just have a primal understanding danger is around. It's
Yeah.
called danger sense.
Exactly. All right, subclasses. This is what you said they changed a lot about. Frenzy for the Path of Berserker now deals extra damage instead of giving extra attacks, and no longer provides exhaustion. That's great, because if I recall, you got like 1 extra attack with your
Yes,
bonus
so-
action or
with
something,
a bonus
right?
action.
Yeah.
And then when you were done, you'd get exhaustion. Now, the extra damage is represented by a number of d6s equal to your rage bonus damage. So if your rage bonus
Oh,
damage
that's
is plus
sick.
2, once per on the first hit each turn, you have an extra 2d6 of damage.
That's
If your
so
rage
cool.
damage is 3, you get 3d6. If your rage damage is 4, you get 4d6 once per turn. So the Berserker, I know like barbarians, it's like the.
I'm moving the cameras a little bit.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say like, well,
Yeah.
no, it's fine.
You're flying
Um,
away.
ah.
Woo.
So I think the fantasy for berserkers and barbarians is you kind of expect them to hit the hardest, right? Like they're so
Oh, yeah,
strong, they hit
100%.
hard. But I mean, yeah, they have the rage bonus, but like compare that to fighters that end up getting 3 and 4 attacks and they just leave the barbarian in the dust.
Yeah.
Now you
definitely.
have an option like Path of the Berserker. And once per turn, you're just adding extra dice on top of the damage, and you're really going to start to feel that fantasy play out a little bit better, I think.
Yeah, I want to. I'll jump down to that when we get. I want to go more into detail about the subclasses once we get more details about them down below. As we run through this, we'll talk about it again. All right, Path of the Wild Heart. Choices are balanced and streamlined, and it can be changed out every time you rage. I don't know what the Wild Heart is. We'll look at it, I guess, when we get there.
That's the totem, the former totem. So
Oh, they
like,
just
when you
renamed it?
rage, you go like Power of the Bear. Next time, you go Power of the
Got
Eagle, or
it,
whatever
okay.
you feel like is appropriate.
Path of the World Tree, which is a new subclass, a whole new barbarian subclass that draws power from you. That's as a lore nerd, I like that. That's really cool. Although I'm more of a Great Circle kind of guy, but you know. And then Path of the Zealot. Focus has been shifted on staying alive rather than being able to resurrect easier. Okay, good.
Yes. Yeah. Instead of like the cool thing you do is when you die, something happens.
Yeah.
Let's just have
exactly.
you have access to the cool thing you do before that happened.
Yeah, exactly, right? As a barbarian who's not supposed to have that happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, Primal Knowledge. You gain proficiency in a barbarian skill, and you replace the typical ability score with strength when making certain skill checks when your rage is active. That's funny. It's like trying to do like a history check.
I'm just really strong. Knowledge.
Yeah. I'm
No,
so
but the
angry.
skills are at least the skills are acrobatics, intimidation, perception, stealth, and survival. So it's
It makes sense.
since
yeah.
your strength is your prime score, that really, like, don't think about it too hard. that's the way I have to tell
Yep.
myself. Like I can't,
Yeah,
I can't go
yep.
there, or else it won't make sense.
Feral instinct. You can no longer act while surprised, even if you enter rage. So, what is it saying? They got rid of it?
I think. Yes, instead you
that's
get
what
instinctive pounce.
Yeah, okay. Move up to half your speed as a bonus action as you enter rage. Okay, that's kind of the same thing as the fighter's second wind almost, but
Yep.
I do
Yep.
kind of like that because this is like a what do you do in combat? I rage, and you get to move half your move speed and then your full move speed. So it's frontline barbarian. That's good. That's just nice to have.
It is. It is. There's I think the thought just escaped.
The thought's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. Oh well.
It'll come back.
We'll
It'll come back when you're in the middle of something
Yeah,
else, and I'll have to
exactly.
interrupt you or just be polite.
We'll be on the warlock. Ah. Alright, brutal strike replaces brutal crit. Trade off advantage when using reckless attack to inflict more damage and a debuff when you hit.
So when you reckless attack, you can say, "I don't want advantage. I want to do X when I hit instead." But you'll still grant disadvantage to hit you.
So you don't have the option to give yourself advantage anymore. It's just extra damage.
Think about it this way, right? So like in our Eve of Ruin game, we use flanking.
Yes.
Let's pretend Aradel was a barbarian.
Yeah.
If you and Bigus are flanking someone, you could still get advantage, but you could reckless attack to deal extra damage or deal extra debuff.
Got it. So reckless or brutal strike has nothing to do with advantage anymore.
It's still, well, it's just you, instead of reckless only giving advantage, now reckless attack, it opens up more possibilities for your.
Well, it says trade off advantage, which is
right. So brutal strike, like before you get brutal strike, your reckless attack is what reckless attack is. I get advantage, but I grant advantage.
Oh, I see.
Now, when you get brutal strike, you could say, "I will still grant advantage, but when I
Got
hit,
it.
I'm going to hit harder, or if I'm going to deal extra."
For some reason, I was thinking it was replacing reckless attack, and
yeah, that's because the way they wrote it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're not talking about that. We're not doing that again. We did that all last night.
AI.
Can forgo advantage on one of your attacks to exchange for more damage or a selection of debuffs. Okay.
So I don't know what they will be, but like
forceful blow. Send your target 15 feet away from you, then you can follow up, move half your move speed without provoking an opportunity attacks.
Just really push them far.
That's kind of cool.
There's a little more like forceful tactical options that you would think a barbarian would.
And then reducing speed. Okay.
Yeah, I did remember what I was gonna say.
Okay.
So the surprise thing that went away, feral instinct. Surprise is going to be different than it currently is.
Oh, okay.
So surprise is now, if you're surprised, you have disadvantage on initiative, and that's it.
Okay, so that's not too bad then.
So like it like that really wouldn't function, but I think
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a class feature or all barbarians will eventually just have advantage on all initiative rolls.
Yeah.
So it's a nice tanky feature.
All right. Relentless Rage. When you drop to 0 hit points while Rage is active, you can instead heal for a number of hit points equal to twice your barbarian level. Okay. So rather than coming to 1 hit point, you heal. That won't do good for big damage, but it will do good to. It's effectively the same thing.
It's just you're a little less likely to just get like coughed on and you go back down.
Yeah.
Like it's to give it a little more. And honestly, was it 2 times your barbarian level? Like if you're a level 15 barbarian, you're getting 30 hit points. That's
not
pretty good.
bad. Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And that's 11. So at minimum, you're getting 22 hit points back, which is a fair chunk. So I
For
guess
sure
that
it's-
makes sense.
Yep.
Improve brutal strike. You get more options. Okay, with your brutal strike feature. Cool. I want to see these more options. They have
They're
them
down here. You got staggering blow.
Oh, okay.
Force your target to have disadvantage on the next save it makes, and it can't make opportunity attacks until the start of your next turn. Letting your wizard light them up with a big spell. Yep.
If your martial buddy fights alongside you, when you hit a creature with this ability, the next attack made against them has a +5. Interesting. That's really interesting to me. 5th edition has specifically gotten rid of mechanics like this. So the
Because
fact
this will stack with advantage.
that's what I mean is the fact that they're adding this back or something like this in is
It's nice.
it's I like that stuff, but without my personal bias, I'm just surprised to see them because they seem to have taken such a hard stance in the hit past without doing. That's why they made the whole advantage disadvantage kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
To simplify the system.
Yeah. I would have been fine for like a D4 or like a D6
Yeah.
bonus or something, but to just make it a flat 5.
That's really
It's
strong.
not a solid 6, it's a flat 5.
I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's really strong.
It is.
And it's just when you hit, right, with your relentless attack. Jesus, that's cool.
That's your reckless attack. So
Persistent rage. Regain all uses of rage if you roll initiative and have none. Regain all uses of rage. What?
wait,
Once per long rest. You're never gonna run out of rage ever again. It's
No.
never gonna happen. At level 15, at least. This doubles the amount of rage you get. Amount of rage charges you have.
yeah. And you're level 15. I mean, pretty good.
It's pretty good. Brutal Strike now deals 2d10 damage, and you can use two different effects when you. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. This is what I mean. These are the
Yeah.
kind of like small little effects that
Mm-hmm.
might not necessarily seem impactful or massive, but they feel good and fun to use.
Honestly,
Oh.
I think people underestimate the effects that it is because how many times can you do this?
Every
Every
attack.
Every time.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Baron, how's it going?
Hey, your rage sounds rad. It
Yeah,
definitely
that's your rad-
does.
That's your rad rage right there.
I
No,
do
but
also like
that's-
the plus and minuses as well.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with barbarians and fighters and martials. Like a lot of people, are like, oh, they're so much weaker than casters. It's like they just have. If you're gonna, it's just not a one-to-one comparison. That's where I
Yeah.
always go to it. Like I don't know what to say. Those are your reliable people up front. Like that's the backbone of your party.
Yeah.
That's your baseline.
Sorry, my fiance's texting me.
You're good.
It's being jumpy. She's hungry, so she's like, when the fuck's the food getting here? And I told her 20 minutes, and it's been about 15, and she's like, so 5 more minutes? And I'm like, oh, that DoorDash is telling me one thing. She's not actually yelling at me, but, you know.
Sure.
I realized I could have come out wrong. Sorry.
I heard a bad light. I'm sorry.
Sorry, don't hate me. All right,
I'll
Indomitable
just-
Might now includes strength saving throws. Cool. Epic Boon. Cool. Your limit to strength. Woo. Well, that's a level 20 capstone. That's still pretty cool. Although I do this kind of confuses me though. And allow me to explain. You're capped at 20 natural
Right.
gains. You're not getting to 25 without magical items. Which means the only way to get to 25 is you get like 5 different tomes of strength learning. Because magic
also
items don't
epic boons.
increase your... Huh?
There's also epic boons. I mean, at level 20, you're unlocking things that can now happen
Yeah, I've never
farther down
actually
the line.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I haven't looked at the epic boons. If I'm being honest, typically high level D&D really just isn't as exciting for me, so I don't really research it as much.
Dude, it's crazy.
But I think, yeah. But I think if you just love your character and you've hit level 20 and you just want to keep going, well, it's a great system to still feel like you're progressing things, and
Yeah.
I think it's good.
All right. What is one thing I wanted to look at more detail here before we move on to the next one? It was the subclasses. Yeah. All right. Path of the Berserker. The biggest change to the Berserker is the adjustment to Frenzy. Instead of giving you an extra bonus action attack, you get additional damage on your first hit each turn. The extra damage is represented by a number of d6 equal to your rage bonus damage. So
This is your classic barbarian.
So you get extra 2d6 on your first attack hits at like level
if
1?
So yeah, that's right. So rage bonus damage does start at +2, I believe. So let's just say I'm wielding a great axe, right? That's a d12.
Yep.
Let's say, just to make the math easy, I have a 20 strength, so I'm adding 5.
Mhm.
If I'm raging, I'm adding 7.
Mhm.
But if I'm a berserker, I'm adding, it's 1d12 plus 7
Plus 2d6 at level 3 when you get your Path of the Berserker.
So then when your rage
Yikes,
damage
dude.
bonus goes to +3, now it's plus 3d6.
I mean, that beats out an extra attack, and you still have your bonus action. That's
beautiful.
so much better.
It's the first barbarian I'm going to play when I get a chance
That
to
is
play a
so
barbarian.
much
I'll
better.
just say it that way.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Intimidating presence and retaliation of swap places. Presence now affects multiple creatures. Thank the Lord. Oh my
It's like,
goodness.
I'm only intimidating to you.
Exactly, right? Like
I just beat the ever living crap out of this one guy, and it scares that one person.
that singular
in the corner.
person. Exactly. And it lasts up to 1 minute without your
just
need to spend an
disemboweled him.
action, extending the that's so much better. That's such a quality of life buff. Because the intimidating presence was never used. No one ever used it, right? No. Mindless Rage now ends charm or frightened effect instead of suspending it. Perfect. No reason for it to suspend. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
All right.
No, the
Wild
berserker
Heart.
is that sets the tone, I think, for the whole class.
I mean, this already makes me excited about barbarians, right?
Mm-hmm.
This
Absolutely.
it's just great. Makes you want to play a barbarian. I know, right? And Berserker was like arguably the worst subclass in the last version. So
Especially when you could just get what it does with a feat like Polearm Master.
exactly, yeah.
It's like you want a bonus action attack?
All right. Formerly Totem Warrior, we have the Wild Heart. Instead of choosing an animal at level 3 and sticking with it through your campaign, you can swap out benefits from level 3 to 14 abilities each time you rage. Hallelujah. The more passive abilities you gain at level 6 can be changed out whenever you finish a long rest. Great. It just feels good. So you're not locked into one thing the entire campaign.
Yeah, each rage has its own theme,
Oh no.
which I think is good.
I'm out of tissues. No. Don't look.
Don't cry.
I'm so
Don't cry over the
sad. I got my
changes.
cry stick.
They also one thing they did say is that they also changed the animals for each one, so there's only one bear feature instead of a bear feature at each level, just to make it less confusing. Like, oh, I chose eagle, so I have to be eagle the whole way, right?
Oh, did
No.
they?
They didn't say that, but the video, Jeremy.
I want to
said
read.
that.
I want to see that then because I did like some of the unique choices you could get.
I don't know if the mechanics might still be the same, but it might just be called something else. Like it might be this is the lion instead of bear.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, they might have added more, is what you're saying. Maybe.
Sure, but like some of the classic features that you may have enjoyed might still be there, but just with
As a different name.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Man,
Path of the
I haven't
World
watched
Tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know anything about the World Tree.
Well,
except
this is
for
the new one.
paragraph.
You can dish out temp hit points, shift enemies around the battlefield, increase your reach, and the versatility of your weapon mastery properties, and as the subclass Capstone, teleport around the battlefield with your allies.
Oh well, teleporting.
Yep, more teleporting. More teleporting.
More better.
Yep. I mean, this sounds interesting. I'm really curious about the shifting your enemies around the battlefield part.
This is a very protective thing if you're able to give out temporary hit points, move enemies around. Increasing your reach is nice, and teleporting. This might be I'm not gonna say like a thinking barbarian, but this is probably gonna someone someone that's looking to be a little more tactical and a little more deliberate and precise with some of the things, I
Yeah.
think they might like that.
I'm curious what they mean by versatility of your weapon mastery properties too. That's interesting. Huh. All right, and then Zealot. The Warrior of the Gods feature now helps you stay alive by giving you a pool of healing dice you can roll as a bonus action, rather than making it easier to bring you back from the dead. Perfect.
Oh, that might be like the Celestial Warlock.
Yeah,
like
it
the
seems
Shepherd
like it.
Druid?
Yeah, like the
Shepherd, right?
the possibly,
Yeah,
or just like a lay on hands pool. But
that
dice.
sounds like. I actually like that. I think I might like that better for a lay on.
The
But I don't
power
think
of
they
a
changed it.
Mirror. All right, yeah. I love. Okay, you don't understand that. I understand that. It's
I
a
have no idea what
Warcraft
that means.
reference.
I figured you would like it.
Yeah, yep.
Because I wanted
and-
to make the power of Clearasil.
All right, I'm
Hashtag
kicking
not
it.
sponsored.
You want to join me? Is it Baron? You want to join me? I'm getting Jake's kicked off. He's done. I'm cutting him off now. Seal of approval revoked. It's gone. It's gone.
Yes. I was about to remove your J&J probation, but
No.
we could barter.
I was so close.
We could barter.
All right. It's also reflected in the Rage of the Gods feature, which replaces Rage Beyond Death and gives you a fly speed, damage resistances, and the ability to expend a use of your rage to prevent you and your comrades from dropping to 0 health.
I like that theme.
That's
that feels
cool.
very, very divine.
That sounds
Right.
really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It sounds completely different than the other version, though, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and I think in our subclass series we put Zealot in our top 3 just because of the damage every round
Yeah.
feature, but I think the fantasy here is stronger, and I feel like that is a theme they've gotten. From everything I'm seeing, that's a theme they got right in the 2024 update.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Definitely. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about the Barbarian.
Me too.
Uh-oh. Is it here yet?
Your dinner there.
Almost. We got. I hear the stairs. She's coming down. She's coming down the
Oh.
stairs.
Oh, I'll try to be
Bunk.
quiet. That's where that box picture.
Where's my box?
I gotta
Where's
hide.
my
I have to
protective
hide.
box? Where's my
Like a
hat?
turtle
Where's my
going, hiding
beard?
in a shell.
Lee's not here. Hello. Yeah. I mean, the Barbarian sounds awesome. Honestly, I'm happy with all of these changes so far. I'm really excited to see what the official release of them, right? To see the actual details about it.
Absolutely.
3 minutes. All right, let's move on. I picked Well, I kind of picked Barbarian. You're up next.
I'll just roll again.
All right, now roll. We got a rogue.
5.
We got a roll again. There's only 4 to choose from.
Oh, okay.
I think, right? We got Paladin, Wizard, Warlock, Rogue. Yeah, 4.
I rolled a 1.
All right, we're doing a Paladin.
Pallies.
Paladin. Oh wow.
I think they got a big nerf. No, I have no. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, well let's see.
Oh, we'll take a look at that first one.
I will in a second. Sorry. Talk to yourself for 1 second.
I'll be in charge now.
Yeah, you're in charge of the stream. Congratulations.
This is dangerous. He just
I don't
gave
have
me
a clown
free
horn
reign.
sound effect. Where is my
He
clown
gave me
horn?
free
Honka, honka.
reign. Cue the Thomas the Tank Engine music. Ba-dum bum 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 bum. Lay on hands now as a bonus action. I'm curious to see what Lee thinks on that one. No longer affects diseases. I'm very disappointed because that was a very, very classic Paladin feature. But I kind of understand wanting to have that to be a more powerful thing. But lay on hands is strong. Bonus action now. Massive difference. Wonder if it's still gonna be 5 hit points per level. It can cure the poisoned condition, but it can also be used on constructs and even undead. It should Personally, I think it should damage undead, but that princess is in another caste. Jake, have you ever been to the secret basement of a church in the middle of an undead infested area? Are you talking about Donnie? It's been a bit, but I feel like we're going with that. That's a good. Actually, which reminds me, I'm all excited because season 6 of Cobra Kai is coming out. I know it's the final one, but I am excited to see how it all wraps up. The secret basement of a church. All I'm thinking is like a storefront church when you say it like that, Baron. But yeah. I think the Barbarian's going to be a lot of fun to play. I think the Paladin... I have to just remind myself, because I remember seeing it. But I don't think the Paladin needed much. I think the Paladin was pretty good. Just smooth some rough edges out. Ironically, I was not talking about Donnie. I like that they're going to get spellcasting at level 1. I feel like I'm just going over what Lee is about to. The basement of Lights Hope Church. I'm scared. Oh, that's got to be a wow. 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 Quick,
Hello.
don't tell him anything. Hey, Lee.
Hey, how's it going?
We're good. We're good. Nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened at all.
What could you have possibly done that would ever be bad? Why would I ever think something bad happened? What happened? Why are you acting like you did something bad? You're gaslighting me into thinking that you did something.
Yep. It's a fun game.
All right. Jake, have you ever been to the secret basement of a church in the middle of an undead-infested area? What is that, Eastern Plague Lands or Western Plague Lands?
Basement of Lights Hope Church.
Lights Hope? Yeah. Oh,
but
man.
I thought he was also referencing, because we're kind of I'm in guest. I have a guest spot in one of his home games that I've gotten to do a couple sessions on, and there's like the zombie infestation, and I was like, wait, it's one of those secret places in the basement of a church?
Dude, I've in my campaign, my entire crafting system I just straight up freaking took from Warcraft, first of all, and a lot of like
use it.
I know, I literally, because I don't understand D&D's crafting system, and what I do understand is Warcraft's crafting system. So
what crafting system?
Exactly. Although I think they did add a crafting system in the new update.
I think they did too,
so,
or at least more guidelines for it. It should be there if you want it. That's the kind of
too little, too late, I say.
Yeah, well, 10 years.
You Strathhome to City? Jeez. That's not good.
My character is dating was formerly dating another character's mom. And I'm trying to save her.
Go to your room. You're not my dad.
He's away at the drunken master monk, and it's just fun.
That's fun. All right, let's look at this Paladin update.
Take a look at that first one, Lee.
Lay on hands. Now a bonus action. What? Crazy!
I don't think they nerfed the healing points either. Like, I think it's still 5 hit points per level.
That's so good. That's fantastic. Yep. That's
really strong.
So strong. Oh my goodness. That's so good.
Baron said it was the best reveal he's ever had at a table. Yes. He's like, oh yeah, you know that he's the guy that used to date your mom.
I
was like, you think he'd be cool with this? He was like, yeah. I was like, then let's do this because it'll be hysterical.
I can't even say it. Oh man, that's great. I love that. I'm off topic. I lost it. It's gone.
Yeah, lay on hands. Bonus action. It doesn't affect diseases, but it can be used on constructs and undead. While you were
That's-
away, I said I think it should be able to damage undead personally, but
Yes.
that's a
Yes!
Final Fantasy thing. You cast a heal spell or a cure spell on undead, it should deal damage.
I love that. But that's again a flavor thing, right? Like I can see
That's
why
a
they
different
wouldn't
system.
do that. Yeah.
That's a different system.
But I love that. I think that would be awesome. But I do
That one
kind of
has
like this.
deep roots.
Deep roots.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, spellcasting is now at level 1 for paladins, just like we talked about yesterday
Yep.
for rangers. I would imagine it's going to mimic exactly what we now see for the artificer in that way.
Yeah, and the number of prepared spells is a fixed number listed on the paladin table. Okay, perfect. And everything's prepared spells now, which is
Yeah, I
cool.
don't think it'll change for them because they were preparing it every day,
Mm-hmm.
like clerics and druids. But
Weapon mastery, perfect. You get
Yep.
2 weapon masteries, great.
just
Fighting
like the
style.
barbarian.
Now feats, perfect. We already know that. Paladin
And-
smite. What's
And
up?
Blessed Warrior, you could get a set of cantrips like the ranger could. I think it's the same
Oh,
stuff
okay,
really
okay.
that we saw.
Oh, it's like one of those. It was one of those optional features you could pick up.
Yeah, so like if you didn't want to have protection or defense or whatever style you
That
wanted,
was an option. Got it.
you could choose Blessed Warrior, which gave you like Sacred Flame, like if you wanted to lean into the spellcasting.
Ah, I see. I see. Said
Yeesh.
the dumb man. Paladin smite. You always have divine smite prepared. Oh, so it's a spell now.
Yes.
Can be used with unarmed strikes. Yes. Yes.
Boom.
Yeah, exactly. With a holy fist of vengeance. Bah.
But look at this. This is a significant nerf, actually.
Now requires a bonus action, which you can take immediately after hitting a creature with an attack. That is a pretty big nerf.
That's a big one because now you can only do it once per turn,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you only have one bonus action. And you can't use your bonus action to lay on hands or do something else. So like there is still a pain point there, but I think Lee, you've DM'd for high level paladins.
It's
I
necessary.
I think this is a good change for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, being
Because
able to smite
if you're
at
power
once-
gaming, if you're power gaming as a group, it's not if there's a paladin in the group, it's who's playing the paladin in the group.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like trying to make the strongest party.
Yeah, bottom line is, if you get two hits in currently 2 smites, if you wait for your first attack to be a crit, which is the power gamer strat, then you
Mhm.
smite on your second attack. That's 15 or 6, 12, 18 d6 on
Yeah.
top of your attack.
It's
If we're talking doubling the dice rolls, which is the
it is gross.
and that at the up front at the beginning of combat can end combat incredibly quickly. Because if combat starts off, you have to be smart with as a DM in high level, because you all know your enemies have to go first, or there has to be some preparation or some way that you can prepare for every single one of your players to blow their load on their first turn. We're getting that
Just
meteor
waves.
swarm. We're getting that 7 smites.
Yeah.
We're getting the monks 7,000 attacks. You're getting your action surge fighter with their 20 attacks.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared for that. So this kind of helps with that a little bit, although
Just waves.
yeah, it
More
is a
enemies
fair
show up
nerf.
in round 3. Yeah,
Exactly. Barrett says it's a fair nerf.
I agree.
Exactly. Doesn't feel great, but it's totally understandable. You always feel bad about when you're balancing something and but you always knew, right, that it was overpowered. You always knew it was just too much.
It's like how Wild Shape was.
Exactly.
Or
It's
the-
just like the
the,
Druid
uh,
Wild Shape. It doesn't
the
feel
Moon Druid,
great
yeah.
to lose, but you know why it's gone. You're like, fine, I get it.
Yep.
All right. Channel Divinity can be used twice before short or long rest.
Instead
and
of once.
The Divine Sense feature is now part of Channel Divinity. Oh.
So I believe Paladins only ever got one. I could be mistaken on that. I don't think I am. having it
I'm gonna have
twice
to double
now.
check that because I'm not positive. I feel like they got more than that.
I think I only started off as one. Chanel.
Divine Sense.
Bubble Hearth. Let's go.
That's Divine Smite. Oops.
Chanel Divinity.
Channel.
Do they not have it? Maybe it's in your spell kit? That's weird.
Channel. Where the hell is it?
Got
Divine
himself a
Sense,
ring,
Land
didn't he?
Hands, Fighting Style, Spellcasting, Divine Smite, Divine
Just click on.
Sacred Oath.
There it is. Channel. I'll
Okay.
Get out of the way.
Each channel divinity option.
You must finish a short or long rest to use your
Okay.
channel divinity again. So I think it was.
So it is a
now
once
it's
per day.
two.
Then. Yeah. Now it's
But
two.
Divine Sense is now a channel divinity.
Yeah,
It's just
Divine
less to
Sense.
manage. I think it was what, charisma times per day?
I wish it had a better. I mean, Divine Sense. Oh, it's level 1. Why am I just so dumb?
Yeah.
1 plus your charisma modifier per day. Yeah.
So this is just, it's just simpler to say, like, okay, I have my spell slots and I have
Yeah.
my channel divinities.
Bubble Earth, let's go. We got to get Jake to play Warcraft.
No, I don't have enough time with editing as it is.
That's fair. Neither do I, man. But I just have a crippling problem with Warcraft addiction. All right, Paladin subclasses. Oh, the Devotion, Glory, Ancients, and Vengeance.
I love all those choices.
Devotion. Features
one.
last longer and have reduced action cost. Divine Smite also now grants cover to you and your allies. That's cool. That makes it
Yep.
more like a
That's your classic goody two shoes. I'm protective. I'm helping. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. It sounds more like your what's the word I'm looking for? It's a combat option that's not just damage, right? It's something that you can pull out when you think you need it too, right? That's kind of
Yes.
cool.
Yeah. I like that each subclass could interact with Smite their way.
Oath of Glory, Peerless Athlete no longer has a duration, and your aura ability has a larger radius. Yes! Larger radius on those auras! So good!
Yeah.
What was it, only like 10 feet before? It's not enough!
Yeah, the speed boost.
Yeah.
I think I remember. I think it's now no longer you have to start in it. I think as long as an ally touches your aura during their movement, they get the extra.
If that's the case, that's huge.
I think Jeremy Crawford said that because I was like, Jeremy, you know how awkward it is to set up these moments to get the speed boost? Like, you got to help us out.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's a pretty good point. I guess I'll talk to the team. I said, don't talk to the team. Just make the call.
Yeah. You know what, Jake? You're right. I'll make the call.
Just make the call. Sometimes I have to put my foot down with him. It's like, are you in charge or is your team in charge, huh?
Oh, man. Wow. You sound like a toxic girlfriend.
I just see good things for you. I see greatness in you.
No. Oh, man. You could be so much more.
You need to clip like every time I'm talking about Jeremy Crawford and how he's this needy friend.
I need... Oh, man, you're right. Oh, I need to timestamp all of this stuff. Man, I'm screwed. It's take me 5 hours to timestamp all this stuff.
That would be very fun.
Jake, yes, the video will be titled Jake's Awkward and Strange Relationship with Jeremy Crawford.
J&J? Jake and Jeremy?
Yes, that's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail. Exactly. With the Jeremy Crawford PNG Photoshop face over Josh's body.
Just like how we make our thumbnails.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's great. Oh. All right. Oath of the Ancients. Aura of Warding now affects specific damage types rather than just spell damage, and Undying Sentinel now lets you regain hit points. Elder Champion can also be restored using a 5th level spell slot. I don't remember Oath of the Ancients very well, but I think that's a more protective one as well.
It is. I think it was like you get damage resistance against spells. I think.
Josh.
But yeah, a lot of the thing that I think was a lot or mostly disappointing in the 2014 was a lot of the Fey themed things like Oath of the Ancient, Archfey Warlock, like these kinds of things. You just are like, hey, they're just weaker. Don't think that's going to be the case for 2024, which is nice because there's a lot of fun Fey themed things.
You know, I will say, from what I recall of last night, and tonight thus far going through these, it sounds like every subclass is going to be viable based on how they're describing them, which is something I can't say for what the 2014 edition. So it's positive. I'm looking up.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
All right, Oath of Vengeance. Vow of Enmity no longer requires a bonus action, has a larger range, and can be transferred on killing a creature. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Avenging Angel can be restored using a 5th level spell slot. Great, more quality of life stuff. That's great.
Yep. Vengeance was probably the most solid, I think,
Yeah,
out of those 4.
I would
and
agree.
so it's just smooth things out a little.
Um,
And then also, because it doesn't require a bonus action, and smites do, I think that's probably why.
it smooths out the edges yet again, right? Yeah.
That's about interacting with smite.
Faithful Steed. You always find Steed prepared.
Classic fantasy for a paladin.
Yeah. Abjure Foes. Use Channel Divinity to potentially cause a number of creatures equal to your Charisma modifier to become frightened of you. And while frightened in this way, they can only use limited actions. Interesting. So it's an improved frightened effect.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That's kind of interesting.
Yep.
Aura of Courage. If an ally with frightened condition enters your aura, the condition no longer has any effect. I might need clarification on this.
So if someone is let's just say you're playing a paladin and my character is frightened and I can't move towards you, you could just come near me, put me in your aura, and now I'm no longer frightened.
Well,
Just
it doesn't say you're no longer frightened. It says the condition has no effect. So
Okay, well,
that's a
just
very
weird.
specific way of wording it.
that's true.
I would hope it just ends it because that makes more sense. I would feel like, but I guess I would want to see this actually written out
Instead of by an AI, I mean by
by David Barker. Interesting.
Bob
Those
Barker's
that
son.
name is made by letters. You know what else is made by letters? AI. Coincidence? I think not. All right, Radiant Strikes now works with unarmed strikes. Perfect. Restoring Touch. Spend 5 hit points from your land hand to remove a selected condition. Oh! You can remove multiple conditions by spending more points. That's awesome. This is just you're no longer stunned. Boom! Unless there's specific,
Yeah.
it says selected conditions. So
There are specific ones, and I don't know what they are.
well, let's find out. Scroll on down.
Nope, they don't tell you.
They don't?
Nope.
Well, that's a blue ball and a frickin' half. From a list of... You serious? Come on!
Yeah, they gotta just tease you.
And then blue ball of True Sight. Boon of True Sight. Increase one of your ability scores by 1 up to a maximum of 30.
Blue ball of
Okay.
true sight.
Yeah, I kind of just came out. Munkadin is a go. Exactly. That's what this is telling to me. Exactly.
Golly, that would be a very powerful character.
I mean, you just get smite and spellcasting and 7 attacks.
The
Although,
ability
no, it
scores
wouldn't
are
be.
all over the place.
It
but
wouldn't
it's
be,
very
though.
powerful.
Because Flurry of Blows and your extra attack costs a bonus action. So you're getting your Divine Smite on a fist, and you're sacrificing your 1 or 2 extra attacks. So,
It's true.
I wish Munkading was cool, but that really doesn't feel good.
You can still smite, though.
Yeah, you could.
You could.
Okay, well, let's take a quick look at the subclasses, then move on to whatever the other ones are.
Sounds good.
Oath of Devotion. Paladins who swear an Oath of Devotion will find their features lasting longer as Sacred Weapon and Holy Nimbus each now last 10 minutes instead of 1 minute. In addition, Holy Nimbus can be used again by spending a level 5 slot rather than just being once per long rest. They also have a new feature that replaces Purity of Spirit in the form of Smite of Protection, which grants cover to you and your allies within the aura when you cast Divine Smite. Finally, Oath of Devotion gets tweaked spells in the form of Shield of Faith and Aid, replacing Sanctuary and Lesser Restoration. That's really good.
Those are much stronger.
These are
than
much stronger spells. Sanctuary is
Yeah.
fantastic. Lesser Restoration is
Well, it's not as needed because of your lay on hands features.
yeah, that's true. Okay. I want to know what's Purity of Spirit. You're always under the effects of protection from good and evil, and your aura is you can't be charmed. Okay, yeah, that's nuts. Oath of Glory. Alacrity is improved. Previously, it had a 5-foot radius. Now, it uses your aura of protection to determine who it affects. This use of aura of protection is something else you'll see reoccurring in 2024 Paladins and its subclasses, meaning better synergy between your class features. Also, a 1-hour duration of Peerless Athlete and access to a brand new oath spell called Yolan's Regal
Yolanda.
Presence.
Hollandaise.
Yolanda?
Yolandaise.
Yolanda's Regal Presence. Yeah, not
Nice
much
winning
information
lottery.
there about Glory, huh?
Mm-mm.
Ancients. One of the biggest upgrades is the Undying Sentinel feature. You would simply go to 1 hit point instead of 0. In 2024, you instantly regain a number of hit points equal to 3 times your paladin level.
This is like the barbarian feature,
But
stronger.
better. Nature's Wrath also now affects each creature of your choice within 15 feet, and your target must make a strength saving throw instead of getting to choose between a strength and dex save. That's actually a much bigger buff than people would think. Elder Champion has also seen some love, now requiring a bonus action instead of an action. Wow, they really buffed Ancients, huh?
So you got your Elder Champion as the...
This one.
That's your capstone.
Yeah.
So, like,
I guess. Capstones are meant to be really powerful, I suppose.
yeah. And you should be able to enter that mode and
Yeah.
make an attack. You just should.
Oath of Vengeance. Receives an economy boost with no longer requiring an action, instead can be applied with your attack. It now also has an increased range and can be transferred when the current target of your vow is reduced to 0 hit points. Relentless Avenger and Avenging Angel also had boosts, with the former reducing target speed to 0 and the latter being able to refresh with the 5th level spell slot. Okay.
I think you're going to see ranged paladins. I think because fighting style now opens up, it's just a fighting.
That's true,
And-
you're right.
I would like to see the wording of the Divine Smite spell, but I suspect, I mean, really, why limit that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Did they say Smite is not has to be a melee attack?
no, well, right now it is, yeah, if you look at the current paladin. But I think it's going to be,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an option. That's just, I don't think they've said that. If they did, maybe I'm just thinking that's my idea, but I think that's going to be a thing. for
Maybe.
2024, and I like it.
I
Why
do
limit
like
that?
it. I think they've fixed a lot of problems. Again, they've fixed a lot of clunkiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the majority of these changes, like there have been some significant changes and additions, like, you know, the Druid's wild shape elemental forms and like stuff like that. But the majority of these changes are really just taking some clunkiness and making it play more smooth.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's fantastic because like it's just the action economy problem, and I feel like it's fixing it a lot because as the game has gone on, more and more things have required an action, more and more things have required a bonus action, and I feel like they're kind of, you know, taking all the things that have happened and have been added into the game and kind of trying to smooth it all out a bit. So it's,
They
I
took
think
a
it's
big
working
look
out
at
great.
that. I agree.
Yeah, I like it. All right, next up, we got 2 more options to look at. We got a rogue and a warlock.
And the wizard.
And three more options to look at. 3 is a number that I know. All right, you want to roll a d4? We got wizard is gonna be 1,
2.
warlock
2.
warlock.
The Horlock.
Excuse you?
I said warlock.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay. Not as many changes, but a lot of changes for smaller features.
Yep.
All right, invocations. You can now select 1 invocation at level 1. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
The former pact boons are now invocations. Oh. You can select 1 at level 1, and you're no longer limited to just 1 as you level up. What?
And I think Pact of the Blade is going to be what Hexblade basically the entire subclass is.
Well, but you're not even limited to just one.
Yeah, so like if say you're like I want to do Pact of the Blade, and then the next time you get Invocation, you also want Pact of the Tome, or Pact of the Chain. Like you could have both Pact.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
That's
it just takes your
really
invocations,
cool.
but why not?
That is real. Oh my god, I'm gonna mute this server. Why is it doing this to me? Mute server for 3 hours. Okay, thank you. You gain more invocations, and at earlier levels, that's good. Cantrip buffing invocations can be chosen for other cantrips than Eldritch Blast. Wait, they're making new invocations to buff more cantrips?
So Repelling Blast, you could put that on Ray of Frost. Think about it.
Wait a minute, that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
You're removing 20, what is it, 25 or 20,
Yeah.
is it 25?
I push you back 10 feet
It's 10 feet.
and
okay.
reduce your speed by 10 feet.
Sorry, you now have 20 less movement speed effectively. That's so cool. And invocations
kind
are
of
not
is-
fooled by spell slots, with one exception. We'll see that in a second.
That really is. It's probably like your best smite, but that really is kind of like the Warlock's version of Weapon Mastery in a way.
Yeah. I gotta say, I don't know how this Pact Boon versus Invocations will feel. Reading this, apparently you get more invocations, so it sounds like it should be great, and it sounds cool.
Yeah.
My
one
gut
thing,
reaction is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is in the UA when they introduced, they were like, you get more invocations, but we took away all of your Mystic Arcanums and made those invocations, and you only get 2 extra invocations. I'm like, you lied. Were giving us things for free and charging us for it.
Yeah.
And saying you gave us more money. Like, all the things are technically true.
It's like
I
free
actually
shipping.
ripped them apart in my survey. I was like, you're not pulling a fast one on me. It's like your cost of living raised 10%, but we're giving you a 5% raise. Welcome.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, like it's like, come on.
Yeah, it's like, gas prices has gone down under me. Yeah, but inflation has gone up 30%.
Yeah.
Whatever. Man, I don't give a
That
shit.
princess is in another castle, but
Yeah.
but I think they backed off of that.
All right. Well, it seems like it based on how this is worded. It seems like it. All right. Magical Cunning. Once per long rest, complete a 1-minute ritual. Hello, Jenya. Thank you for the subscription. I don't even know if you're here. I think that just happens on YouTube if it happens. So who knows?
That's true.
Yeah, did I tell you I was recording a video one day and I got like 3 subscribers while I was recording the video and I'm using my
That feels
Streamlabs. So it's like, bring, bring. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, thank you, but fuck. I'm trying to record. All right, once per long rest, you can complete a 1-minute ritual to restore half of your maximum Pact Magic spell slots. To restore half of your maximum Pact Magic spell slots. So, are they nerfing? No, it's not a short rest. It's just a ritual. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the maximum Pact Magic spell slots will eventually be. I think it would be nice if the maximum was 4, because I know now it's 3.
Yeah, well, that's
But
one,
you don't have to have a short rest. You just give me literally 1 minute, and I'm at least getting something back.
So this is just completely new then.
And at level 20 restores all of your Pact magic slots.
Which means this is just more nice quality of life stuff.
More
you know, as a
time.
warlock, how many spell slots do you have? 2. Yay!
Yeah, I mean, you get 3 at level 11, but
Yeah,
still, like,
exactly.
it's for most of your career.
You're not just going to be an Eldritch Blast machine anymore.
Yep.
At least that's what I'm getting so far.
Mm-hmm.
All right, subclasses. Now at
Level
level
4.
3. Always prepared spell lists that have had tweaks for each. This gives me no information, really. Archphase. Several key features have been replaced or updated. Celestial.
It's essentially new, yeah.
Magical Cunning can restore the use of Celestial Brilliant Resistance in addition to short and long rests. I don't actually know what that is, but I'll look. Fiend. Several quality of life updates and changes. And then Great Old One. Brand new features. Yeah, literally. We just tore them apart and threw everything new in there and made it all better.
Yeah. Archfey and Great Old One got some big. They're essentially brand new.
All right, let's.
But that's a
keep
good
going.
4.
Those are great, yeah. Archfey's great. Fiend is a classic. Celestial, the Great Old One's a fun one.
Mhm.
All right, Contact Patron. Brand new feature. Once per long rest, you can use Contact Other Plane to communicate with your patron. Automatically succeeds in the saving throw for the spell. That's really cool. This is more of an RP kind of thing. But
Yes.
But
At
I
least
think it's
in the
really,
class.
What was that?
It's at least in the class.
I know. I think stuff like this should be more involved in certain things, like especially with a warlock. I like that they're doing this with a warlock specifically, right?
Yeah.
Because before it's been what you're selling your soul to, Cthulhu or like Asmodeus or like whatever, and now you actually have the ability to talk with them.
Exactly.
Um.
And Baron says that he's homebrewed more spell slots for warlocks, and it's never felt. I think that's good.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had an actual flat, straight warlock hit like a higher level. My highest level warlock I've ever DM'd, I think, was like 13-ish.
Yeah.
And then they went paladin, I think, and stuff, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Alright, have a good night, man. We'll
Good night,
talk
Baron.
to you later, my guy. Alright, Mystic Arcanum. Previous optional rule has been changed, so when you gain a warlock level, it's now built into the class. Okay, so it's just built right in at level 11.
I think, yeah.
Is it 1? Just 1 Arcanum?
I think you can. No, I think it. If we scroll down, you'll see it better. But I think
Okay.
you can like replace level.
All right, well let's go through some of this stuff then, because holy snot. Ugh. Reading hard. All right. There are two really important. Okay, let's take a look at this shift. In the 2024 Warlock, Pact Boon is gone, and the packs are now part of your Eldritch Invocations. There's two important beneficial aspects for the shift. First, you no longer have to choose between them. All 3 of your former Pact Boon options can be selected as you level up and gain access to more invocations. So you could have a Pact Weapon via Pact of the Blade, a Familiar with Pact of the Chain, and a Book of Shadows from the Pact of Tome. Second, while some Eldritch Invocations do carry prerequisite levels, such as Agonizing Blast, which requires a 2+ Warlock, the former Pact Boon invocations do not, meaning you can select the Familiar, Book of Shadows, or Pact Weapon as early as level 1. Okay. But how many invocations do we get? Seeing as how you get an invocation level 1, the progression has been expedited. We'll have access to more invocations than their 2014, maxing out at 10.
Was it now 8?
I don't think it was 8. I think it was like 6, wasn't it?
I'm looking now. It is 8.
It's 8.
Yeah.
So
you
only
get your 8th one at level 18. So you're getting 2 more, but one of them will. It's essentially 1 because you're gonna if you're gonna count the Pact Boon, which you're not required to take.
Yeah, I guess
But-
you're right. It is effectively just 1 then.
Yeah, and that's fine. I don't think it needed more. I'm just.
Well,
Just
I mean,
the way they marketed that, I was like, let's talk about this. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's still being marketed as that, honestly. Yeah, because let's be honest, you're gonna want a Pact Boon, right?
yeah,
You're just gonna
because
want a Pact
you're
Boon.
making me pay for something you used to give me for free, but you are at least giving me more money to cover the cost of that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. That's just more flexibility. And I'm there for that.
Some invocations can be repeated. Firstly, there's no longer limited to Eldritch Blast. Any of your known Warlock cantrips that deal damage can now add your Charisma modifier. So you can now boost the damage of Toll the Dead or Thunderclap with Agonizing Blast. That's great. Next, you can select these invocations multiple times when adding new invocations. So if you're trying to build a cantrip powerhouse, you can add Agonizing Blast or Repelling Blast to multiple cantrips. Okay, so it doesn't stack. You can put it on multiple individual cantrips. I think that's terrible. I think this is stupid.
Wait, what?
It's you can pick an invocation for like Agonizing Blast or Repelling Blast multiple times, and it
Right.
applies to a single cantrip. So you can put like Repelling Blast on Thunderclap or Toll the Dead.
Oh,
What?
it says it only goes on one.
That's
cantrip.
what it's reading.
Where?
You can add Agonizing Blast or Repelling Blast to multiple cantrips, but of course you can still use it for Eldritch Blast. Wait.
I just don't think that's.
You can select these invocations multiple times when adding new Eldritch invocations.
Sure. So I think if you take Agonizing Blast, you choose the cantrip you're applying that to. And then if you take Repelling Blast, you could also apply it to the same cantrip.
Yes, but what I'm saying is,
You just think it
you would have
apply
to take.
all of them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like why would I spend 4 invocations on Agonizing Blasting 3 or 4 different cantrips, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
It's-
could see building around one,
yeah.
but I want my invocations.
I feel
for
like this
the
is
two.
being made to sound a lot cooler or great better than it is. Agonizing and Repelling Blast on 1 is great, but that's
it is
two
better
two
than it was.
invocations.
Well, it used to only work on Eldritch Blast, so like we talked about the pushing plus Ray of Frost.
But I don't think Ray of Frost is a Warlock slot or a spell.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
If it isn't now, he did reference that in the video.
okay. I mean,
It is better than what it was, but it does still sort of seem like you're
yeah,
still nickel and diming me. I get it.
it does, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like you're having to use one of those extra money invocations you got on your pack now, so you have one invocation. And now if you want to do the same thing you did with Eldritch Blast with another cantrip, you just have to spend the other invocation on it. So it's like,
Yeah.
why not just put it on all cantrips? Maybe not Repelling Blast, I can understand, but the charisma damage on it, like,
Yeah.
give Warlocks like that. I think that for a Warlock would be great.
That would be a lot of fun.
You know, man,
Yeah.
it just that one was the first one I've read that I felt like, wait a minute, this you're trying to sell me like a sterling silver ring that's just coated in silver or something, right? Like,
What is white gold?
yeah, exactly. Spell slots, who needs them? With the exception of Eldritch Smite, which deals significant damage and gives enemies a prone condition, none of the 2024 handbook invocations carry the using a warlock spell slot description. Oh. You still have spell slots for your pack magic, but they are largely no longer fuel for invocations you get from your patron. Instead, Eldritch invocations feel like a wholly separate branch unique to the warlock. Okay, so it looks like those invocations aren't restricted to a warlock spell slot, which is probably good.
Yeah, right? Like, so, like, if one is like was it Sculptor of Flesh, you can cast Polymorph, right? Something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
what it
Like,
seems like.
I think that was one that you could cast Polymorph using a Warlock spell slot, but now I guess you cast Polymorph once a day.
Yeah, which is
That's
just
good.
more quality, I guess.
Yeah.
Magical Cunning. Warlock pack magic and spell slot progression works the same. You can also recover expended spell slots at the end of a short or long rest. And you now also have that additional way to gain your spell slots back with the 1-minute ritual. Okay.
Yep.
All right, subclasses. Here we go. This is the part that had no information earlier.
And you round it up.
Oh, round up. That's big.
Yeah, because
That's
it's always
nice.
round down unless it mentions it otherwise.
Yeah.
But
All right, Archfey. Misty Step is added to your prepared spell list, and many of the features of the subclass give extra uses of the spell, along with healing bonuses and damage effects on enemies when you use it. Beguiling Defenses has now been updated to reduce damage you take and inflict damage with a reaction. I kind of like that. A lot of teleports.
there's gonna be a lot.
There's a lot of teleports.
There really is.
This is starting to worry me now as a DM.
Too much teleporting.
Too much teleporting.
I
You
do
know.
think it's so. It's funny how you were wanted to talk about opportunity attacks. So this is kind of a way to skirt some of them, and you're worried.
Kind of a way of skirting some of them. It literally, I don't think we've read one class that has not had this. Some
kind of-
version of this.
yeah.
Um,
Use a second wind and move. Use a rage and move.
Yeah.
Teleport with Misty Step. Yeah.
It's a bit worrisome as a DM. I have to
Yep.
admit. I love
It'll be
teleporting. I love French fries, but I can't eat 2 pounds of French fries. Right? There is too much of a good thing. Right?
I want to try. I'll try though. If you gave me 2 pounds of fries,
I mean, I'll
give
give it a
shot.
damn good try, I guess. Like,
I will give it a run for its money.
oh man, it does seem a little bit not lazy per se, but it's like you're right. It does just feel like a way to circumvent opportunity attacks, right?
The thing with the Archfey is the subclass was so it was. I'm gonna say it was kind of unplayable when compared to other options,
Yeah.
and teleporting is just useful in pretty much every instance. And just like the Eladrin features, that would like you Misty Step and you get a thing. You Misty Step and you get a thing based on which kind you were.
Yep. The
I think
Eladrin.
that's going to be a lot. That's going to be a similar thing over here. I think one is you actually can like do the mark where like they have disadvantage to attack people other than you.
Yeah.
Or maybe I might be thinking about the Great Old One, but one of the subclasses has that, but then there's penalties to attack you. So it's kind of like you're really able to mess
Yeah.
a lot of things up, especially if you're going to be a Pact of the Blade guy
I guess
and just run around there.
I will say though that I suppose that this is on a subclass feature, so it's not the class like the other ones we've seen, like a druid, or the druid subclass, the fighter, barbarian. So I guess that
Yeah, this
makes
is
less
specifically the Fey one.
exactly. All right, Celestial
teleporting.
Patron. You get temporary hit points from your Celestial Resistance when you finish your magical cunning ritual or complete a short rest. So you just get temp hit points now with your extra regaining spell slots.
Yeah, that's like one sentence, but there's I remember the video had more. I just forget exactly what it.
That's all right. I'm not gonna watch the whole video on these.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for it to come out and then read the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Fiend. Dark One's Blessing now grants you temporary hit points. If someone else reduces an enemy to 0 hit points within 10 feet of you, instead of once per long rest, you can use Dark One's own luck a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier and use Hurl Through Hell again by expending a packed spell slot. I don't remember what that is.
Hurl Through Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm gonna go look it up. It's the Fiend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Dark One's own luck. You call a patron to alter fate in your favor when you make an ability check. Okay. Hurl Through Hell. When you hit a creature with an attack, you can use this feature to instantly teleport the target through the lower planes. The creature disappears, hurtling through a nightmare landscape. At the end of your turn, the creature returns to the space previously occupied or the nearest unoccupied space. If the target is not a fiend, it takes 10d10 psychic damage once per long rest. Okay.
And now you can do that again if you do a
If someone else reduces an enemy to 0 hit points, you can use this by expending a packed magic spell slot.
Dark One's Blessing is I think you were mixing up.
You gain temporary hit points.
So normally it would be if you drop a hostile creature to 0 hit points, and now if someone else reduces an enemy to 0 hit points within 10 feet of you.
Oh.
This is great for
Wow.
a blade fiend.
Wow,
Right?
that's
So if you're going to be up on the
huge.
front lines, what you and your allies, you're getting extra temp HP every time. 10 feet. You could be surrounded.
And you can
And like drop a fireball on me, I'm good.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. Wow. Okay. Gonna be hard to top that Great Old One.
Yep.
It's received the biggest changes and now heavily focused on Lovecraftian Eldritch horror elements. The features of the subclass are now heavily centered on using your patron's power to curse your enemies with hex, break their minds with psychic damage, and unleash abhorrent horrors with no details. Just focuses on hex.
One detail for the Great Old One patron using hex. You know how every time someone plays a warlock, they're like, I'm going to put disadvantage on their dexterity saving throws. And it's like, it's dexterity
Doesn't work
ability
that way.
checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it does for the Great Old One patron.
That's pretty good.
That's a big
That's
buff.
pretty good. That is
Yeah.
a big buff. Oh man, I wish they had more details about this. Ugh.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's Warlock. I think out of all of the ones we've had thus far, I don't.
It
Maybe.
is.
Yeah. Well, wait. Well, I'll wait to say what I think about all of them.
Mhm,
All right. We
mhm.
got Rogue and Wizard.
You know what I want to do, but I'm
Odds.
good either way.
Odds evens. Odds are Rogue. Evens are Wizard.
Even. Wizard.
Perfect.
Wizard.
We end it with your Rogue. All right.
Oh, yeah, I think I gotta go for that one. Just kidding.
Okay, your favorite rogue class. Wizard, here
This
we
one
go.
I actually have notes. Of this
Yeah,
one.
you talked to me about this the other day.
Yeah.
All right, spellcasting. Number of prepared spells is now fixed number in the wizard table. You can replace
That's
one
just
cantrip.
for the people that can't count, but that's fine.
Exactly. You can replace one cantrip each long rest. That's really cool.
That is
Really
nice.
cool. Spell books can be used as a spellcasting focus. Fantastic. I did not even know that this was not there. And also, come on, ChatGPT, learn how to spell.
Well, foci is the plural of focus. But why say it
but
that
why
way?
say plural if it's a book?
Just why?
Oh, well,
As
spellcasting
your-
books. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that just... Your spell book can be used as a spellcasting focus. That's just what it should have said, but it didn't.
Damn it, David Barker, or should I say, David Barker.
David.
Backing up your spellbook is faster and cheaper. Backing up your spell.
Cool.
Backing up your spell. What am I fucking plugging it into a USB on my computer? What the fuck? Backing up your spell. What does that mean?
You've never destroyed a wizard's spellbook as a DM before?
Oh no, I'm just saying backing up your spellbook sounds very funny to me.
You gotta keep a backup spellbook, man.
Just gotta upload it to the cloud. Hold on a minute. Or they gotta upload it to the Feywild.
You
One
keep
sec.
it back in, because if you don't have your spellbook, you can't change your prepared spells.
Hold on. What are
Or
you
do your
doing,
rituals.
wizard? Oh, I'm just uploading it to Mount Celestia Cloud.
You know what? Mount Celestia Cloud.
You know, that's it. The Arborian Cloud. You know, that's all it is. All right. Ibis Cloud. Ritual casting has been removed from spell casting. Classes can now cast any prepared spell with the ritual tag as a ritual. Okay, so any class that has access to a spell can do that now.
So and ritual casting is just its own feature, which you'll see in the next line.
Okay. Functions the same as ritual casting rules, but these rules are now housed under their own feature.
Just
Okay.
to make it more prominent.
Yeah. You gain expertise and a skill at level 2. Cool. Oh, look at that. You gain expertise and a skill. Ranger would like a word with you. Wizard subclass. All wizard subclasses get 2 free spells from their spell school and another... Wait, 2 free spells from their school and another free spell each time they gain access to a new level of a spell slot. Wait, so they get 2 free spells from their school.
So let me take Milo, for example. He's an abjuration wizard.
Yeah.
Let's just say when he hit level 3, I want to know mage armor and shield.
Yep. And then
I
you get
just
1
have
free
those.
spell after that.
Every time I level up.
Wait a second.
It says a new level of spell slot. Let me take a look down the bottom here.
Well, because when you level up, you gain 2 spell slots, right? And learn 2 spells.
Well, you learn 2 spells. So the way this is worded, so when I unlock level 2 spells, I get a free abjuration spell. When I unlock level 3 spells, I get a free abjuration spell. It's just to make sure you have access to the thing you're supposed to have as
It's
your theme
on
for free.
top of your normal learning of spells as you level up.
It's
as like when
extra.
you unlock those 3rd levels, those 4th levels, you get that.
Yes.
God, you get 3 extra spells like 8 times or 7 times.
Oh, hi, Josh.
That's crazy. 3 extra spells 7 times. Right? Am I reading that correctly?
Well, there's 9 spell levels, so you'd get 9.
Well, no, because you don't unlock that until you have access to 1 and 2 already. When you hit level
So
3,
Right, so all
So
wizard
3
gets
to
2
9.
free spells. Well, no, hold on.
Yeah.
At level 3, you have access to levels 1 and 2.
Yes.
That's why you get 2 free spells right when you get it from the school, and then each time they gain access to a new level of spell slot. So you're gonna have 9.
I'm
You
not
following me?
understanding this.
At-
How do you
at
gain?
level
How do you
3.
learn spells currently in 2014?
You start with 6, and then every time you level up, you get 2 more.
Yes. Now this is its own thing, or is it adjusting how it is?
Lee, it's just if you're a wizard of a particular school, right? Abjure or
Yes.
diviner, whatever it is. When you unlock your subclass, you will already have level 1 and level 2 spells, so they give you 2. And then when you get level 3 spells, you'll have 3. Just watch how many fingers I'm holding up.
I
for spells.
get it.
When you get level 4
Okay.
spells, you have 4.
I
Then
see.
it's-
I see. I was thinking 2 every single time you unlock it, as well as a third.
No, so
Jesus.
you're still getting the 2 normally that you'll get as a wizard. It's just these are on top of that when you unlock a new level of spells.
Got it. Why do they word it in a way that makes me read that? Oh,
Because it's not human anymore.
I'm very mad. I'm very mad. I'm so mad it took me that long. Jake is still wrong? How
I
is
would
he
love to hear-
wrong?
I'm not promise.
Oh man.
But I'm listening. I'm listening.
I'm not. Screw this guy. Ban him. Now I'm even more confused.
I'm not wrong on.
All wizard subclasses get 2 free spells from their school. Great. This is not needed here. Right? This should be its
No.
own separate bullet point.
Well, it is because that's when you start specializing in a school.
Well, that's what I
You
mean.
have
It
to
should,
have
it
it
should
there.
be its own separate bullet point there. And then next, free spell every time they gain access to a new level spell slot. Right? It needs to... I feel like... Oh my god.
A new level of spell. It is worded weird. It needs to be worded better.
Hold on a second. I need to ban Josh. Hold on a second.
Ban me
Oh,
like one of your French girls.
Oh no, I hit the moderator button instead. Oof.
Josh is made a moderator. No.
Oh man, the whole ban and moderate words look so similar to me. It's crazy.
Does that make sense to you now?
I think so. I think
Okay.
it makes. I mean, I understood it, and then Josh said no, he's wrong still, and now then I was confused.
I mean, if he's
But-
got another, I mean, if he thinks I have it wrong, I would listen. I don't think I do though.
Limited power.
Too weak.
All right, let's just wait for the fucking book to come out. Abjurer. Arcane Ward can now be refilled directly using spell slots, and you get counterspell and dispel magic always prepared, and they don't use spell slots if they fail. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's very strong. I would love to know if they're one of their main features that lets them add their proficiency bonus to those checks still works. But
It's bananas.
it's really nice to have those. I mean, if you're an abjurer, that's kind of your shtick. That's your thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I do
And I know you said
protective
the dispel
magics.
magic too with the bonus action as well is
Yes,
absolutely
they-
crazy. Oh, that's great. Diviner, largely the same, although the third eye gives 120-foot dark vision and the ability to cast see invisibility without a spell slot, but loses ethereal sight. I don't
Kim
think.
just asked me to help her with something up.
Okay, you're good. I think the diviner was probably in a good, or divination was in a pretty decent spot. Yeah, get out of here. Go. I'm in control now. Ha ha ha. It's perfect. I didn't even know there was confusion when you popped in and made your first comment. How typical. How typical of you to just come in and cause a problem. We've done everything so far except the rogue. So after we finish the wizard, we're going to move on to the rogue. Then I'm going to eat dinner because I'm starving. And I have dinner waiting upstairs that I haven't eaten yet. So, all right. Let's look at Evoker. Potent cantrip and sculpt spells have been swapped places. Potent cantrip now applies to missed spell attacks as well as successful saving throws. That's great. I want to actually look at sculpt spells. Wizard. And this is the evocation. You create pockets of safety within your spells. Oh, okay. So when other creatures within there, you can have them automatically succeed on their saving throw. Okay. So they've just swapped where they are. So potent cantrips at level 2 now, and sculpt spells is now at level 6. Interesting. That's nice. Because it unlocks just around the time you get Fireball for sculpt spells now, so that's pretty good. That's probably not good for people playing with wizards. But that's great, and they did change the whole potent cantrip for the half damage, which is awesome. And then the Illusionist. You can ignore verbal components for illusion spells and cast Minor Illusion as a bonus action. And you get to summon Beast and summon Fae that are always paired that can be cast once per long rest without a spell slot. I mean, that's pretty big. A free 2nd level summon, 3rd level summon, pretty freaking powerful, man. But I'm not super well versed in Minor Illusion as far as combat is concerned. If a creature if you create a sound, the volume can be blah 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 blah. A lion, the sound continues. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's really combat oriented at all. So I don't know. I mean, I have to ask Jake about this because I like Minor Illusion, but I don't really know the super ins and outs and versatility of using the actual spell in or out of combat. Because it doesn't look like it does much. It just looks like, yeah, chicken spells. If creatures are illusion, it is, yeah. I think it's very up for discretion, so I'd have to double check and make sure I'm not missing something with the spell. But either way, the free summon Beast, summon Fae is pretty crazy. Memorize spell. Swap one prepared spell for one in your spellbook each short rest. Fantastic. More quality of life feeling, more short rest bonuses that you get. And the spell mastery. Chosen spells have a casting time of 1 action, but are all... Chosen spells must now have a casting time of 1 action, but count as always prepared, and you can swap a spell on long rest rather than using 8 hours of study, but only 1 per long rest. Interesting. Okay. Is he back?
I'm back, and I brought my familiar.
Hello, familiar.
This is Hermione.
Hello, Hermione. I got a question for you, Mr. Jacob.
Yeah, what's up?
Minor Illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Combat usage. Explain.
Like, what could you do with it?
Yeah, because I read it, and it seems very up for interpretation. So, like, I know we talked about it a little bit the other day, but I'm not super well versed in Minor Illusion. It's not one of my preferred spells that I usually keep in my back pocket as a DM.
So it is, I think, very commonly misused. A lot of people, it gives you a visual thing or a auditory thing. But a lot of people will be like, I make a illusion of a cat and it moves over here. Like, no, you can't.
It doesn't move.
It's not supposed to move. But you could do... In combat, you could potentially create something that, like an illusion of like a 5-foot wall, maybe. Or like things that might create something to distract them, really. And so they have mechanics there for an investigation check against your spell save to try and see if it's an illusion or whatnot, right? Because I believe they can use it as a bonus action.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so it is pretty... It's pretty vague in that way.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those spells that requires a lot of loosey-goosiness with...
But if you wanted to maybe, like, do sound of, like, reinforcements coming, or, like,
That's
things
fair,
like
yeah.
that. Maybe you know what
Yeah.
I mean. Like you could like those are kind of creative uses that as a DM I would say, yeah, I'll roll an investigation check and see if they can figure it out that it's just doing your thing. But yeah, it's a very it's a cool fantasy to play, but like it's kind of like a lot of divination magic if it's sort of DM dependent.
Yeah.
Like does the table embrace this concept and or is it going to be something that is going to just be weird and disjointed?
Yeah.
It's mechanically difficult.
Those are really the big ones. I went through the other ones. Let's quickly go down here and just double or touch upon these subclasses real quick and the details that we have. Abjurer, we really already have all the information we need about that.
Spell magic as a bonus action.
Crazy.
That's
Yeah, I told you the other day, like, Dispel Magic, it's a super good spell, super powerful. Doesn't feel good to use, though, because it takes an action, right?
yeah.
So having it as a bonus action is just so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Diviner, let's see, your third, yeah, this is only the sea invisibility chains, okay, and the dark vision.
Yep.
Evoker is the potent cantrip and sculpt spell swap places, so you do extra damage, or not extra, but you do safety damage at level 2, and then you can say Fireball, get out the way at level 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then Illusionist, Summon Beast, and Summon Fate.
Those are strong
They are,
because you get free casts of them, even though they are weaker versions of them. But they are illusion spells for you when you do that version of those spells. But you could use it either way.
I'm trying to see, at level 6, you get Phantasmal Creatures, which grants Summon Beast as always prepared spells. These can be cast as illusion spells, which summon modified versions of creatures, and allow for a free casting of each.
Yeah.
That's a free second and a free third level spell slot. That's crazy. And even though they have
They are weaker, but
lower hit
it's
points,
free.
like,
Yeah. No,
that's
the illusionist,
nuts.
if you really do think about that and some of the buffs that it got to, I forget the one that's the reaction to being attacked, or they changed it to being hit. The illusionist has a lot more
Arcane
combat. No, it's an illusion feature. It's like a if you're in danger, what's illusory self? I think. Yeah.
Oh, yep.
It's a really nice, like there's combat options here for the illusionist, and it's nice. It really didn't have that kind of a flavor.
Yeah.
Evoker, I barely know her.
I. Behold, it is I, Vecna.
All of the things I think are nice and I like them, but the feature that I am most excited about is Memorize Spell. And the reason why is not necessarily because of how sexy of a feature that is, but because it's just how it affects my day-to-day life as a wizard. I'm not going to prepare scrying. I'm not going to prepare sending. I'm not going to prepare teleportation circle. I'm only going to swap those out if that particular need happens in that day.
Yep.
And but I'm still taking those in my spell book because those hurt so badly if you don't have access to them when you need them. It's almost like you're preparing them just so you avoid the pain of not having them.
Yeah.
And this mitigates that, so you have all of the other cool things you want to have at your disposal, which is what the wizard should have. That's when you compare them to the sorcerer or the warlock. You're the one who's ready for things. You know, like
Yeah.
you might not be able to do the twin spell or the quicken spell like the sorcerer, but you're the general practitioner. You're the one who you drink and you know things.
I do, and this goes back to what we mentioned, or what I mentioned way earlier on with the short rest stuff, right? We're going right back to more things you can do with a short rest to make it more worthwhile to short rest rather than just flat out long rest, right?
Yeah.
So this is just great. You're right. Why would you ever want to take sending, especially in our campaign where we're one man down in a 4-man normal campaign?
Yeah.
If you ever take scrying instead of something like combat oriented and we get into combat, oh man, I'm coming to your house.
But that's what I mean. That's one spell that I'm like, be like, Josh, I use the 2024 version.
Yeah,
Be like,
yep.
whatever we got to do and talk about, I think this would be really nice.
Exactly. Oh, let me do. Oh, let's hit that. Yeah, honestly, I like it. I think a lot of quality of life changes. Probably the least amount of changes. I feel it feels like the least amount of changes. Maybe not.
I don't think the wizard needed much. I think it
I
was
don't
just.
either.
I think honestly, 5e. And I'll just say it this way: for what it is, like I think what it sets out to do, largely, just sings. It just does such a good job.
Yeah.
But no system is perfect, and they just tried to. I think how did Jeremy Crawford put it in one of the videos? Like actions that weren't pulling their weight were moved to bonus actions. Bonus actions that weren't pulling their weight may have been moved to reactions. Like they just tried to just smooth the game out.
Yeah.
And like there's nothing worse than being forced as a paladin to say, am I going to use my action to attack somebody and save the day that way and help my party, or am I going to use my action to lay on hands? Well, now lay on hands is a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, those kinds of things.
I think that every one of these. Well, again, let's go to the rogue now. Finish this off,
Rogue time, baby.
and then we'll give our final thoughts on all these thus far.
Yes, sir.
All right, the rogue. Here we go. Level 1, my favorite class, the rogue. No, him and Jeremy talked about other things. We've already you were late. You were late to the conversation. Now you don't get to be privy to it.
It's J and J and J now, Josh.
Yeah, exactly. It's not Jake, Josh, and Jake. It's Jake and Jeremy. It's
At least that's what he keeps asking for. I'm like, that's really not gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
You know that.
He's like, man, at least just throw and another J on there, please. No, okay. All right. Choose 2 weapons you're proficient with. You gain the mastery properties, and you may change these as long rest. Perfect. Every martial has had this so far.
Hey, Rivers.
Hey, Rivers, how we doing? It's all right. The only important thing you missed is Josh is being replaced with Jeremy Crawford. All right. You also get Thieves' Cant. You now get
It's what you want.
additional level or language proficiency. Great. So you don't actually get Thieves' Cant, or do you? Is this just an addition to
You
Thieves'
get Thieves' Cant plus another language.
Okay, cool. There's another J and J and J and J now? Yeah. No, Josh.
He's
No.
having fun with us just as much as we're having fun with
Josh,
him right now.
your J is gone. That J is replaced with the other
No,
J.
that's what Jeremy keeps pitching. So, dude, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Man, come on, Jeremy.
He's very needy.
It's ve-
He's very needy. It's just I'm not.
I need a. You're right. I do need a montage of you just saying Jeremy Crawford's a needy person or needy friend.
He
Oh,
keeps asking
man.
me what I think about the design.
We've talked about everything so far except for the rogue. The rogue's the last thing we're talking about, Rivers. And after we finish this, we'll kind of give a lowdown of the rest of them and our thoughts on them.
Mm-hmm.
And Jake also said some terrible things on stream when I was AFK as well, but I wasn't privy to that information.
I mean, that's just on brand.
Yeah. Not the J&J brand though. He's pulling some on brand from the This Crits over here. That's very on brand for my stuff. You guys are very PG over there on the J&J. I'm very fuck everything. All right. Rogue subclasses. Arcane Trickster. Upon level up, you can swap out a cantrip. Cool. Versatile Trickster can trip enemies instead.
So Versatile Trickster, I think it's their, I want to say maybe level 14 feature.
I don't know
but it's
anything
like
about
one of their-
rogues, so I'm
We
pulling it up.
just did our rogue video subclasses, and it as a bonus action you can use your invisible mage hand to give advantage on an attack. So now you can trip. I don't know if it's automatic or there's a saving throw. Level 13.
Oh,
So that was
yeah.
like their path to sneak attack, but with their mage hand.
Yeah, so they're just adding mage hand sneak attack is what I'm seeing here. Yeah.
Well, they're changing it to a trip instead. So knocking them prone is stronger because it's not just you; it's everybody. Because they would then be prone if they're tripped.
Wait a second. Currently, as a bonus action on your turn, you can designate a creature within 5 feet of the hand.
Yep.
Doing so gives you advantage on attack rolls against that creature until the end of your turn.
That is effectively what a trip does. But if it knocks a creature prone, that creature is prone, so obviously I can take advantage of that, but so could you.
But it's a flat nerf to the rogue in general. Because it's a chance.
Well, if it is a saving throw, I don't know that.
Oh, we don't know that yet? Okay.
I don't know.
All
It's
right.
written into the bylaws.
There's only one J can be replaced with that, and it's... Oh, man.
We do have a bylaw document, by the way.
J and J and J and J. B.
Oh, Jeremy's not in. He needs to grow up.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
He needs to show a little more emotional independence.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say C and C over here. Crits and Chris Perkins. Chris.
There you go. All right. I'll take it. I'll allow it.
All right, Assassin. Iconic features are easier to trigger. Greater focus on poisoning and impersonating others. Impersonating others?
Yeah, so like that feature they have that, I think it's their level 9 feature.
Infiltration expertise. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I don't know the details on it, but they made that better.
Soul Knife. Psychic blades have the Vex property. Cool.
That's their own path to sneak attack.
There it is. And Thief. Activate magic items as a bonus action and remain hidden after attack.
That is massive.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Activate magic item is now a bonus action and remain hidden, and you remain hidden after attacking. Wait.
So you know how, like, if you use the hide action and then attack, you're exposed. You're no longer
but
hidden.
you're not.
The Thief can stay hidden.
My stealth archer Skyrim dreams have been answered. Ah!
They have.
Oh man, that's so cool.
The Thief is like, I have greater invisibility at level 3.
Literally. For real.
I mean, I'm sure you have to make a stealth check or something, but
like, it's a rogue. You're gonna be good at stealth checks.
of course it is. And Josh and I, actually, we just did our best 3 rogue subclasses, and Josh said the Thief was his honorable mention as his favorite mechanics that fit the fantasy. And he was like, "There's really aren't any like combat features, so it was hard to put it on the list."
There's your freaking combat
here we are.
feature. Yeah.
Well, here we are. So.
By the way, greater invisibility is a combat spell. Get at me, Josh. Unchanged. Steady aim's unchanged, but it's now a base class feature. Cool. Cunning strike.
For the assassin, by the way, the assassin only has to spend their bonus action. They don't have to move.
For what?
Steady aim.
Oh.
That's very big.
That's. I want to get down to all these subclasses, but I want to quickly touch on these.
No, but honestly, this is where Jeremy took my ideas and just ran
with it.
Yep.
Cunning strike. Trade sneak attack damage die for one of 3 effects. Okay, so I think they talked about this in the UA a little bit.
Yes.
Reliable
This is kind of like
talent.
the barbarian stuff.
Yeah, with the relentless attacks and whatnot.
Right.
Reckless attack, yeah. Improve cunning strike. Use 2 cunning strike options at once. I love that. Devious strikes. Adds additional cunning strike options. Render an enemy unconscious. Unconscious?
Yep. Just knock them out.
That's
I
big.
think if they fail a con save, you can just knock them out.
That's auto crit big.
But that's in the base class.
I know that's big. That's really big. Wow.
Effectively, that's really kind of just like a spell, though, right? If you bop them, they're unconscious, and then they just keep making saving throws to get up from it. So that's just like if you did hypnotic pattern or something else.
But unconscious is an automatic critical hit for melee attacks.
Oh, is it?
It's an automatic.
Highlight that again. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit within 5 feet.
Oh
so
my.
That's huge.
The rogue is just like, hey, paladin, you're virtuous, right?
Yeah,
I
right.
know you wouldn't hit an unarmed man, would you? And it's like, yeah, well, it's a critical hit if you do. So.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, man. Calm down, SpongeBob. All right. If I have to live with the Spirit Shroud meme because I made a mistake, you have to live with the Greater Invisibility meme because you made a mistake, okay? That's how this goes.
It's like, you know how you do a bit and you have to stick with it because
Yeah.
of how hard you leaned into it?
Yeah, you
It's
just
like,
gotta stick with it, man.
wait, what? I was like, oh.
Slippery Mind now grants proficiency in wisdom and charisma saving throws. That's great.
So the rogue is going to be at level, was it 15? They're proficient in dex, wisdom, intelligence, and
Just
charisma.
not con
Or strength, but
or strength.
but
sure,
of the
yeah.
of the big three, yes,
Yeah.
you're right, con.
That's massive. Oh, that's so good. That's huge. This is another huge thing that seems so minuscule.
Yeah.
All right.
I
and
just wanted
then
them to have a slippery mind as well as a
slippery mind, slippery snake.
well, that's something.
Epic, epic boons, and then stroke of luck. When you use this feature on a missed attack roll, the result is now considered a critical hit. Beautiful. Oh my God, Josh, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you so hard.
You don't have to fight.
All right, let's look at this. Weapon mastery, thieves can't. Here we go. Arcane Trickster. You can swap out a cantrip every level. Give you greater flexibility in your build. Versatile Trickster has been changed so that when you use the trip option of Cunning Strike, you can target an additional creature within 5 feet of Mage Hand for your trip.
See, now he's just being weird.
What's he saying?
There's just not enough detail.
Oh, you're talking about David. Dave.
it David?
David.
Was this
No,
him
it's
too?
Michael. Michael
Michael
Galvis.
Okay.
Hmm. Michael Galvis. Suspect. Okay. Yeah, it's just vague. Versatile
Yeah.
Trickster. Versatile Trickster. Let's just double check what that is.
So originally, it's
It's
you
the
can use
Mage
your-
Hand
as a bonus
advantage.
action. You can designate a creature within 5 feet of you to do it. Yeah. So, and this is basically saying when you use the trip option of your Cunning Strike, so you're trading sneak attack
Oh,
dice to
so
trip
you can
someone.
trip another one.
That's what it's saying. But like, that's just. It is good, I guess, still, but if it's also reliant on using the trip option, that's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that as a rogue, I'm still mostly gonna just want to deal my sneak attack damage.
Yeah, it's,
But
yeah.
you know,
Especially if
it's
you
nice
can
to have
knock
the
him
choice.
unconscious somehow.
it's nice to have a choice.
You can now more easily trigger Assassinate and Death Strike, but the damage has been reduced. You're more adept at poisoning and impersonating. Thanks for literally the exact same thing you wrote in the chart. Ugh.
I believe the assassinate damage, like instead of it being an auto crit, I think it's just damage equal to your rogue level.
That's really bad. That's
It's not
like
great.
terribly bad if that's true.
Yeah.
That's actually that's angry levels of mad bad.
Yeah, we actually got a comment on our rogue video. Today.
Yeah.
It's like pathetic. I was like,
Oh jeez, people get so mad. I've gotten a couple.
it's like we didn't
recently.
talk about the assassin in our rogue video because we were talking about the best subclass.
Well, you should just talk about the best classes, and it's not rogue. I'll tell you that much.
Rogue largely does fit the mechanics for the rogue largely do fit the fantasy.
It does, yeah.
Maybe about as well as any class they've designed. They just had one flaw that I talked about, and people hated me for it.
Yep. It's true. Everyone.
And all of these things address the flaw I talked about, which I think is hysterical.
Jake hates rogues. Everyone. Jake
heard
alert!
it here.
Alert! Jake hates rogues.
You heard it here, folks.
All right, Soul Knife. Largely unchanged. You have a range of 60 to 120, and they have a
That's right,
Vexmaster property. All right, Soul Knife was a new one that really didn't need much changing, I don't think.
Yeah, I was never really all that interested in it, but I think if you're looking for that psionic rogue, having psychic blades that kind of disappear, like there is no murder weapon anymore. Like
Yeah,
that's kind of
true.
cool, you know.
It's
But,
one of those. I think we talked about this, and I don't remember when we talked about this, but I feel like I talked about this with you. Is that whole psionic stuff doesn't really interest me all that much. But
Not
it's
the
a
way 5e
really
does it.
cool. It's a cool concept, and it's a cool like archetype that a lot of people do like. I'm just not
I'm
one
into
of
it.
them.
I'm really into it, but the way 5e does it, I'm
Not
really
into it.
not.
Yeah, I feel
really
you.
not. Just
All right.
true.
Thief. You can activate magic items as a bonus action and have a unique cunning strike called Stealth Attack that allows you to remain hidden after attacking. Okay, so
Awesome.
it's a cunning strike. Use magic device saw the most changes and now offers you It now offers you an additional attunement slot. Grants
Always
a
nice.
chance to activate magic items without expending charges. And
That's
allows you to use
really
spell
cool.
scrolls no matter your class or spellcasting prowess.
That is really cool.
That is really cool. Huh. I think Thief's the winner here, guys.
Oh yeah, without question.
Jeez, that's
Got the more
crazy
the most
powerful.
cool updates.
Just another attunement slot alone is insane. Wow.
It's really nice, and to be able to just think about a chance to activate magic items without expending charge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool things, and like being able to use spell scrolls that you can't normally use. Like there's a lot.
I feel like, yeah, man, that's nuts.
Mhm.
Arcane
some
Trickster,
things
get
it's
the
just
hell
like
out
it
of the
just-
way.
They just slide it in there, and you're like, wait, hold on, that opens up like break into song. I can show you the world right
Seriously,
now. You know?
All right, let's look at these cunning strikes. Poison, trip, and withdraw. Poison. With this option, the target must make a con save or be poisoned. That's pretty good because it's disadvantage on attack rolls.
It sure is.
Trip, it's prone on it's on a failed save. Okay. Withdraw, you can move. Okay, that's nice. You can just get in, get out. That's good, but it costs
Yeah,
you
so
extra.
It takes one of your d6s. So like at level 5, I think you have 3, so you'd only deal 2 d6 damage. But you could also then move up to half your speed.
Yeah. Reliable talent. I rolled a 2, but it's a 37. I appreciate the meme here, but you clearly don't know how this works.
Yeah.
All right. More strikes.
I like that they moved that because that was, I think, level 10. I like they moved that to
Yeah.
7 or level 11. Maybe.
Here we go. Here this is. Daze. If a target fails a con save, they only get to move or take an action or bonus action on. So they're effectively slowed. Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Knockout. It costs all
does-
your dice, but you
Well-
bonk an enemy on the head and render them unconscious for a minute if they fail a save.
Almost all, but yeah.
Well, 66, right? At level 14, that's what they have, isn't it?
I think they'd have 7 at that.
I mean, either way, it's a huge cost.
It's a bit. Yes.
But that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
even if
it's
this isn't
strong.
for you, like it's the next attack that hits them. They're unconscious for a
setting up
minute.
Setting up your paladin.
Wait,
or
they're
maybe it's
unconscious
just
for a
2 rogues.
minute. They don't wake up if they take damage.
Well, they repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns too.
But
Yeah.
But that means you could get multiple PC guaranteed critical strikes against the. Oh man.
Assuming that's exactly how it works. I don't think the official version will have bonk in the in the description. But
Yeah.
we'll
Bonk
see.
an enemy on the head. You're sap. It's like a sap. Obscure. And this is where you can. Oh, an enemy becomes blinded on a failed dex save. Okay. Blinded is pretty
Yeah.
damn good. I mean, this is pretty good, man. Like,
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fun options to play with, and I think almost everything that they've thrown in there is something that the rogue will do. I will say, was it the level 11 version where now you can do 2 cunning strike options instead of 1?
mm-hmm.
That's nice, but I think, I mean, if you just look at the options at their disposal, poison, trip, and withdraw, like, I just wonder. Did somebody say bonkus? I wonder if. I do wonder how often you'll be wanting to do that. I just wonder. I mean, I could see poisoning and tripping someone because they're both really good. It's
I mean,
like,
it's
I need
costs.
you to make a dex and a con save. You know, like
Yeah,
whoa,
I mean
okay.
it's a heavy cost, right? Like, because you're losing a lot.
But
of
it works
the
well if
damage.
it does.
It does, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
cool. I still this unconscious ability is still insane. It is a con save, which I get, but like still.
Sure.
Okay. And then you can increase an ability score up to 30. And you have resistance to all damage except Psychic Radiant in Dim Light or Darkness. And as a bonus action, you're invisible. You just are invisible.
While in dim light or darkness, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. No. As a bonus action, wait.
I think it's still part
Oh,
of the
it
same
is still.
thing.
It's a comma. Okay.
Yeah. And
There's
as
like
a bonus
4
action-
commas in that sentence. What the? I mean, yeah, that's crazy. I do think the thief is a huge winner here.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. What do we think of all of them? Let's wrap this up in a nice little basket. What are we thinking? Let me pull up a sticky notes. Don't look at my sticky notes.
Okay. I will say this: there are definitely classes and options that I thought the fantasy is really cool, but the way the mechanics work, I would have felt like I'm just deliberately being weaker to do it, and I just wouldn't want to pick it.
Yeah.
And largely, I don't feel that way with what I'm seeing. I would play a rogue now, which is, I think, okay, I have chances and opportunities to do the thing that is cool for me on my own without relying on my allies to forego perhaps doing the thing that's cool for them. So I'd like that. I think Paladin got a nerf, but I think it's a fair nerf. I think that all of the subclasses that I'm encountering feel much more evenly matched in terms of power levels, and so it's just what will you have more fun playing, and I like that.
Yeah. Who do you think
I
the
know with
biggest
Yester-
winner is? Or let's say biggest loser first. Who do you think the biggest loser is out of this so far?
Loser in terms of just power.
In general. Like what do you let's say, how about not loser? What are you least excited about out of all of these classes? Which one are you least interested in?
I'm gonna say Paladin.
Yeah.
Not because I think the Paladin's bad or the Fantasy's bad, but I don't think it needed much, and I think it did largely get nerfed. So outside of lay on hands being a bonus action, which I don't want to sleep on that. That's really nice. But when I just look at the different types of druids, I want to play like all of them. When I think about all the different kinds of warlocks, I want to just build all sorts of weird warlocks. Like I would like to play even a Beastmaster Ranger, which I know we were talking about
Yeah.
the Ranger yesterday, but like I just think that's fun. And then maybe the big winner? Oof. Maybe the Barbarian.
You think so?
The Berserker.
The
most
Berserker
classic Barbarian there is.
Yeah, the Berserker's definitely the biggest winner of the Barbarian, at least, I'll tell you that. Oh man.
But even like the way, like they all sound really cool to me. I think the Wild Heart, I think is better than it was, but I don't think it's as interesting. Whereas like the World Tree, dishing out temporary hit points, moving enemies around the battlefield, weird reach versatility in my weapon mastery, and teleporting. And Path of the Zealot, like you just like sprout wings and you're just like an angel of death or light, or whatever you are, and
Yeah.
you're doing cool stuff. Like they just all sound fun. And like I don't know, I think the Barbarian, you could play a Barbarian that's not just I pick things up and put them down. Like it just sounds fun to me.
Yeah.
Kind of all do though. I mean, gosh, the fighter got champion. Whew. Ooh.
It's interesting. I would disagree about your Paladin take there. I think
Okay.
yeah, that they definitely nerfed the smite, but everyone in their mother agrees that it needed that change, right?
Well, you did phrase it as what am I least excited about?
What, that change?
When you said the big loser, it was just what would you be least likely to
least
play,
excited,
right?
Yeah.
I think it was good for the game. I do. I
Yeah.
agree with you on that.
I guess you're right. Yeah, I shouldn't say I disagree with your opinion on what you're not excited about.
It's like
but
you
yeah.
disagree. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not excited.
No. I got you.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
Do I know me?
If we're talking about excitement, man, Dude, I feel so bad for the Ranger.
Mm.
I feel like the Ranger is. Not only am I not excited about the new Ranger, but I just like
Josh felt the same way.
feel like it's a bad. I feel like out of these, it is the loser out of these changes, and I feel.
I think it's one. It was one of my choices that I was. It was like top 3 in terms of what's just going to be better to play.
I mean, if you say better out of what it was before, yeah, I guess technically you could think of it as it seems like it would be a little bit better, but like we were talking about last night, like the archetype of the Ranger just it's not there. I don't feel like a Ranger because I'm good at perceiving things, right? Or I'm an expertise in that. Like the Bard can do that fantastic. Literally every other class can do that great practically. And then the changes they made to some of the subclasses with like Gloomstalker sounded kind of weird. We don't have much information about some of the changes to the subclasses.
Yeah, it's all our guesses and imaginations at this point.
But I just wish like the Ranger is one of the classes in 2014 that needed a facelift. It needed something to be like, wow, that's cool. You know, when they updated it, I don't feel like I got any of that reading the update here. You know, not saying it's bad or the changes that they made were bad, but I feel like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you're going to get ice cream and you're like, yeah, I'm really excited for this black raspberry ice cream, and you get there and you're like, oh, sorry, we don't have any black raspberry, we just got vanilla ice cream, and you're like, oh, that's cool too, I guess I'll take it. You know, it's like good that the changes were made, but I don't feel excited about them like I do with pretty much every other one they've changed.
It's just not sexy.
It just isn't. It really is. Yeah. Expertise is cool. It's not sexy. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I can speak for Josh in saying that it's his favorite character fantasy class option, right? So I think when some of the cool things like, I think it was called Primeval Awareness, the one where you can like sense dragons. And,
yeah.
Like those kinds of things, I think the fantastic nature of that fantasy was what shined for him. And Josh, please correct me if I misrepresent. But those features, they're very specific to if those creature types are present.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the idea was to make them more useful more often. And I mean, if they did their 5e thing, here's giving you more expertise. And if you're talking about which is the most expert-y of the expert classes, right? The Bard, the Rogue, and the Ranger. I mean, I think it's the Bard because you're just adding a full caster.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Basically specializes in utility magic.
Yeah.
And the Rogue has more versatility in what they say. The Rogue, the versatility and the options the Rogue can choose from. I think there's more options to choose from, right? You have the Ranger there, so it's like I think they might limit it to like survival and nature and perception and stealth, maybe. Yeah. But I do think they're still going to be the best scouts around with extra attack and.
You think they'll be better scouts than rogues?
I think they have spellcasting too baked into the class.
Yeah, but what's spellcasting going to do in scouting, really? I mean, I guess.
I mean, turning invisible is pretty nice. Spike growth and entangle.
Well,
if you get caught.
Do you get invisibility as a ranger? You don't get that until like level what? 16 practically? 14, 16?
Is it not on the spell list?
It might be on the spell list, but it's invisibility is what level spell? It's second level spell, right? So you get that. Oh, maybe you get that level 10.
5.
You get second level spells level 5?
I think so. You have the.
I'll pull it up. Hold on.
Okay.
I don't know half casters for shit apparently.
I think
it might be level 5. I thought maybe I was thinking it was a higher level.
Confusing greater invisibility. Talking about it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so
well,
they get a little...
also let me make sure that it's on this.
If it's on the spell list, yeah, it should be. I imagine it would be.
Pass without a trace.
It's not.
Not. That is weak.
I mean, it's I
Pass
just
Without
think the
Trace has to
class
be on the
fantasy
Ranger
is
list.
being missed big time here.
Pass
Like,
Without Trace. Pass Without Trace is on the Ranger list.
yeah,
But I think that, and okay, that's the other part of the fantasy too, is the rogue is the expert in things they do for themselves. The ranger has options. I'm guiding this group through.
but then you're
this
not a
thing.
scout.
Well, you do that too,
Yeah,
but
they become a hunter's mark bot. Literally a hunter's mark bot. That's what
I
the
really-
ranger is.
I think you guys brought up good points about that, and I really do want to see if spells like the Hail of Thorns, the one where
Yeah,
you target one and you hit like around them. If that is still concentration, I think that's silly. If they smooth out the concentration mechanic with them, I think it could work. But I don't know. This is a class I am more interested in playing this
Yeah.
version of it.
yeah. I mean, that's it. That's
Um,
that's how you read it, man. That's fine.
Well, I don't think it just also wasn't as near and dear to my heart, for sure, as much as it is to Josh. I can't speak for you on that. I know you like druids, so I'm thinking rangers are kind of in that lane a bit for you.
Yeah.
Um,
I wouldn't say that I love
yeah.
them. Like it's what I love about. I shouldn't say I love any real classes, right? I'm going to use the term archetypes, and it's probably not being the correct term, but I'm going to use the term archetypes. Like,
Well, that also conjures the fantasy that you're thinking about when you're selecting.
exactly, yeah. Like we were talking earlier, how we were talking about like the primordial elements and stuff with like the totem warrior, or not totem warrior, sorry, the elemental spirits with the moon druid. How you can't do that anymore. That connection to like elemental affinity or whatnot, that archetype of or theming of a class isn't there anymore, right? Just like this ranger, the archetype or theming of a ranger, I think of hunting, I think of trekking, I think of out in the woods and being specialists with certain things. I do think that specialist thing was kind of, I think that's a ranger hunter kind of thing to do. I understand mechanically it doesn't necessarily fit in D&D because, you know, you're making a character for a campaign at that point, and if a campaign doesn't have, I don't know, dragons in it, then you can't really have a favorite dragon enemy because it's pointless. I get it, but that still feels like something that is severely missing here. Like, and even still, right? Like, I still feel like they just simplified everything to expertise. That everything that was like thematic
That's
and
what
cool
5e does.
just feels like, yeah, but you say that, but we go back to the other class that we were just looking at that I was talking about. I don't even remember which one it was. Where
The
you
last
get a
one was the rogue.
+5 to an attack.
That was the barbarian.
That was the barbarian. Yeah, it was. So the next attack made against it by another creature has a +5 to attack. So it's like they're simplifying areas of other things. They're more complicating other things like this. So like I get it, but I feel like no other class had their core abilities simplified to something as basic as expertise. You know?
Okay, so yeah, and Josh is saying, he just said, I think they need to make or find more interesting mechanics and skill proficiency.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how would you guys feel if it was like you always have Pass Without Trace prepared, or like, I know magic, it's kind of the other, I guess I'll call it a cop out or other path there, but it does work with spellcasters, and the ranger, despite what other people may feel, is a spellcaster. Would a solution be there for like some of those spectacular things? Like maybe they experimented with like what channel nature in the UA, and I don't think that made it, but like that could have been an interesting. You want to keep the dragon sensing feature. I don't want to just call it the dragon sensing feature. What's it called?
Favorite.
Primeval awareness.
Yeah,
Where
primeval awareness. Yep.
but to maybe have a channel nature that like, or channel like primeval prime
Yeah.
senses.
Yeah.
Maybe it's you have. Yeah, there's some they could have done something there.
But you see you see what we're saying with that, right? Like you're already talking about things that could be cool.
No,
and-
I'm trying to.
and
I'm
that's
just trying
where-
to follow it. Trying to put myself in the shoes of, give me that special thing.
Well, we already have classes that get a free spell prepared and can use it for free, right? Right now, it's Hunter's Mark for Rangers, which is fine.
That helps with combat.
It
and
helps
it also
with
helps frees
combat.
up your spell slots to be more able to be used on other things too.
But like, I just feel like all of this is just so bland. I feel like I'm eating like, mashed
Chicken and rice.
Yeah, right, with no seasoning, right?
Put some broccoli in there. That'll get you going.
Oh yeah, that really gets me going. That broccoli.
Well, going.
I've played multiple Rangers since Tasha's, and I've never used their abilities because they're lame to me. Yeah, they just because their features. If we're being honest, any of their abilities, even their spell casting, like none of them are really like
We should just make our own ranger.
active use abilities, right? They're all just like passive, like, hey, is there a dragon in the area? Yep. Okay, cool. Like,
So
hey,
okay, so
I'm gonna use a
for one-
perception check. Okay, cool. Like, there's no active excitement about the ranger class. It's purely like, here's a bonus, here's a bonus, here's a bonus. Do you get to do anything? No, but you can be really good at perception. Like,
well, here's the thing about outliers, Josh. That may or may not be true. Sometimes outliers are just weirdos, but also sometimes outliers, like there's two types of complaining, right? Like sometimes complaining is just someone's just annoying and stupid. And then there's also complaining that just genuinely reveals a problem. I felt like that was the kind of complaining I was doing about the rogue.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I will say that I don't think you're necessarily alone, Josh. Like, if you just go online and look at what some people are saying about the Ranger,
you'll always find someone to complain with.
well, there's a significant amount of people who are like, man, the Ranger just can't catch a break. So you're always gonna find someone who's happy, someone who's sad or upset about changes, right? That's just how it goes. But I feel like the Ranger was one of the ones that it would have been so easy to make not necessarily easy to make something, but the bar for the Ranger was already so low that like any slight increase would have been a huge amount of excitement, right? And I feel like it didn't even get to that bar for me. But that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm not here to trash on the Ranger. I do like a lot of the changes. I just think a lot of it's simplified.
Sure.
But for the winner, I do think Barbarian did pretty well. I do think honestly, I do think Paladin did pretty well, minus the smite nerf. My favorite.
Like what do you think got the biggest buff, and what do you think? What is just like I just want to play this thing first.
It's interesting because looking back at all of them now and thinking about it, I'm not thinking in terms of like, oh, this one got such a buff, this one did so good. I'm thinking in terms of everything just got smoothed out. Everything feels much more natural, and I'm not necessarily like, I want to try them all because they all sound like they're gonna play a lot more naturally, right? Yeah. I'm not excited about the Warlock. I think the Invocations limits it a bit. I think they need a little bit more than that. Maybe the Barbarian, man. I think you might be right.
The Barbarian, I think is just going to feel very much more barbarian-y.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. And I think the distinction between barbarian and fighter got more distinct, and I like that. They should feel different to play, even though like they're both gonna hit hard. They're both good tanks. They do it differently, you know.
That's yeah.
Maybe the single biggest subclass that got the biggest buff. I throwing the champion in that ring. You
The
just
champion
start
in that
off
ring?
with it. You just start every turn with inspiration.
Yeah, that's pretty big. That is very big.
That is massive.
Berserker Barbarian's another one that had a massive buff. Thief
Mhm.
Rogue had a massive buff.
Yep. Rogue in general, weapon mastery in the hands of a rogue. I mean, I've said this before. Most of the people that were like complaining about my thoughts on them just having their own path to sneak attack, they were like, "You can't do that. That's way too powerful." And then, in like 2 sentences later, are just like, "And they deal it every round anyways." It's like, well, if they deal it every round, it's clearly not too powerful.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know, so
Overall, I am excited about all these, though. I do think all of these, maybe not all of them, but I do think most of these, the vast majority of these, are very
Yeah.
good changes.
especially the Fae theme
Yeah,
subclasses.
like, I think a lot of these changes are generally good for the health of the game.
Mhm.
I think they come more in line and balance in terms of with, like, where Tasha's kind of through the balance of the game a little bit out of whack, and all of the books since then kind of, you know, more and more power creep, more and
Yeah.
more power creep. I think this
The-
fixed that
Yeah,
a
it's
bit,
like, everything was here. Tasha's put everything here, and this just says, "Oh, okay."
and then it just keeps going.
Yeah, everything got more powerful.
Yeah. So
I am curious to see what kinds of encounter building guidelines they have when the DMG comes out.
yeah, that's another thing, right? Because everything did get, like, you're right. It used to be here, and then it just lifted a little bit up to here now.
Yeah.
But like that lift up to here isn't just a flat number; it's an exponential growth number, right? Like so.
Yeah. Well, they do normalize things like feats are now not, or they won't be an optional rule. That is a rule. So some things like that. I really am curious to see how things like Great Weapon Master, Sharpshooter, Sentinel, Polearm Master, all those like power game staples that the marshals have. I want to see what the new versions will look like, because I think that's going to be a massive indicator on a lot of things. It's going to dictate a lot, because I mean, even our Eve of Ruin, I mean, just Great Weapon Master, Vegas is hitting for 25 points every round, and if he drops something, he's like, "Oh, now I got 3 attacks."
Sure
Cool.
is. Yup.
You know, like, so like that's something that's really big in that. But I just want to see how that works.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like I think giving them more control elements does help. We'll see.
Well, maybe they'll update the CR system, but
I think the CRs will stay the same, but I think the guideline.
all right.
I
I
think they'll
think
be
that's
modified.
it for me, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a lot. What classes are we missing?
Bard, monk,
Monk
cleric?
and cleric. Ooh.
Sorcerer?
And sorcerer. True.
artificer doesn't.
Artificer's not getting an update, right?
Well, it's not a player's. It's not. There are 13 classes and 12 of them are core.
Yep. Well, Artificer, when was that out? What did that come out in?
That came out in one of the Eberron books, and then Tasha's officially for like
Got
all
it.
of it.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
getting changed. Oh, I
No.
want to see the monk. I want to see the monk so bad. Oh. I'm really curious to see what they cooked up.
I think it's gonna be fun.
Monk is, like I told you, my monk's my second favorite, or one of my favorites.
It used to not be, but between watching Evan play Echo in our Ancient Relics and Hoki Religion, and playing one in Baldur's Gate, I was like, you know what? This is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play the monk again. And I'm also playing one in Baron's home game too. So
Oh yeah, the guy who slept with his mom. Anyways, on that, we're gonna end it here. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I need to go eat dinner at 9:30 at night.
shoot.
Yeah, right, exactly. But yeah, them's the subclass. What do you want? Go home. Go sleep. Go. Me and Jake got to go talk to Jeremy about a J. And we'll